Wednesday, everybody. Delaware Valley and beyond. Hope you're having a great, great day. Going to be a warm one out there, but that's all right. That's the way I like it. I like it nice and warm. Get all the sweat going and all of those fun things. Amy Fadul's in with us today. How are you, Amy?
Doing well.
Yeah, you okay?
I'm doing better.
I can see both of your eyes today.
Yeah, one is definitely still struggled. I might have to put my sunglasses on a little bit later.
Yeah?
The lights start bothering me. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I'll just look like the cool person, right?
Well, we all know Ray's the cool person.
That's true. Ray's worn sunglasses in here, too, though. So.
Yeah.
I did, back when I wore a suit.
That's right.
Yeah, because you guys are cool. We got a little visitor in here today. Who the hell is this kid?
This is my son, Sean, is in for a little bit today.
Sean is the best. Sean comes over with his phone. As soon as he comes over to me and starts doing, what's it called, the baseball?
Immaculate Grid.
Immaculate Grid, yeah. So we start doing that together. He's the man. Sean is the best. Ray, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Bob. Happy to be here.
Oh, yeah, you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, let's get into it. A lot to talk about today, but we can't do it until we get to the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Well, you're fighting Phils, and Sean and Amy were there last night fighting Phils. They get 3 runs in the 8th and 9th combined as they go for a 4-3 walk-off win against the San Diego Padres. What a night. 4 straight hits in the 9th, and Nick Castellano caps it all off with a walk-off double. That did go into the stands. I didn't realize it had. I was wondering if maybe it did. Then I started to get concerned maybe a fan reached out, but it didn't matter. A double by him. Not your classic double, but a slicer down the right field line for the walk-off win. Home run by Kyle Schwarber in the 8th, his 17th of the season. Huge.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely huge. And the people that I was texting with, I don't even know if they believe it. So I get a text I'm on a text chain with Pat McClune and Ed Barkowitz, right? The 3 of us are on a text chain together. And Pat sends out an RIP Willie Mays, which we will talk about later. And I go back, Schwarber hits one here. Send. And Amy, I kid you not, I hit send, and it was the next pitch. He hits a home run. You know how TVs are different? Like we have YouTube TV. So some people might have, you know how they're all a little bit
delayed, yeah.
I get a ha-ha from Eddie.
Oh, because he hadn't seen it yet.
No, I think it was because they probably got it. Maybe their TVs were ahead of mine, and they thought I said it, like kidding. But I honestly did. I swear I called it on the pitch before that he was going to hit one there. Harper gets a single to start everything off in the 9th. And then Alec Boehm comes up and gets a single. And there's, the aggressiveness of the Phillies. I've said this all along, and I understand it. Like, John and I used to go back and forth, where John would be like, man, they are stupid on the base pass. And I said, but they're aggressive. Like, you have to take the good with the bad. And I have a feeling that Rob Thompson says to them, look, the good is outweighing the bad.
Right.
I'll live with the pickoffs, the throwouts, but the good is outweighing the bad. Well, Bryce Harper's good on the base pass last night was awesome. He gets to third on just like a routine single to center. So he was really busting it. That was good to see. Bryson Stott then gets the opposite field single to tie the game. Castellanos, 4 hits on the night. He's 6 for his last 9 with 4 doubles and just 1 strikeout. Could he be turning things around?
Could he be?
Maybe because it's Liam. Like, I expect you to have a great show, which you always do. But because Sean's here, I expect like just extra goodness out of you today, Amy Fadul. It's the first blown save for Robert Suarez in 19 opportunities this year. So he's been pretty good this year, and the Phillies get to him yet again, as we all know the history of Robert Suarez. Aaron Nola, nothing through 5. Then leads off the 6th with a walk, I believe, or whatever. Gives up 3 runs. He goes for 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Okay, that's a quality start, is what they call it. It's not quality when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies. It's just a kind of start. Yeah. So they talked about maybe he got tired in the heat and all that stuff. But, okay, I mean, you can kind of take it. Kerkering, Strom, Hoffman, they go 3 perfect innings with a couple of strikeouts. They threw 43 pitches, those 3. 31 of them were strikes.
That's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
That's incredible.
Because they're so good that their stuff is so good that even if oppositions know they're throwing strikes, they can't back foot it and get ready for it because They are pitching that good. Check this out, guys. The Phillies in this 2-game series are 31 for 75 against the Padres. 413 batting average in these 2 games against the Padres. 18 hits the other night, 13 again last night. It's pretty cool. 6 doubles and 4 home runs included on those 31 hits. Castellanos, I didn't realize this. It's his 3rd walk-off hit of the year. That's pretty good.
I did not realize that.
I didn't either. Saw it in a couple of stories. 3rd walk-off hit of the year. You can complain about him, and it's going to be one of our subjects today. That's pretty clutch. To me, that's pretty clutch. Today, 105, Ranger Suarez. He takes his 10-1, 177 ERA to the mound against right-hander Matt Waldron. Waldron hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in his last 7 outings. So he's a pretty hot pitcher right now, but he's facing an awfully hot team in the Phillies. Weekend series with Arizona starts tomorrow. No, it doesn't.
No.
It starts Friday.
Yes.
Friday, I'm sorry. Starts Friday
right over
against
Thursday.
Arizona. Yeah, screw Thursday. Where you're going to have Walker, Wheeler, and Sanchez going against. And I think Zach Gallen might be scheduled to pitch Bishop Eustace product on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Phillies are now 49-24, 8 games up on the Atlanta Braves, who got a 2-1 win last night. It was funny. I was looking at the box score of that game. Atlanta only had 5 hits, and I was like, when they get their run. They got 2 runs in the first inning on 3 hits. They had their last hit of the game, I believe, in the 3rd inning. In the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, they went down 1, 2, 3 every one of those innings. Only sent 3 batters to the plate. Wow. 1 inning had a double play. But only 3 batters to the plate in like 5 straight innings. So that's kind of wild there. Your Sixers draft is 1 week from today. We've been announcing this and teasing it, but I swear we're going to get into some draft talk today.
We will.
Amy, we're going to try to get it done. Eagles, the players still don't report until July 23rd, so it's still over a month away. On the national front, Edmonton Oilers, and I watched, when the Phillies are on, obviously you're all on there, but my back and forth last night was the Edmonton-Florida game. And Connor McDavid, man, my timing was good last night. You ever do this? Like when you switch over, you're just right catching. You're catching That's really good stuff. I saw both of McDavid's goals, and then I saw the awesome assist that he had, weaving in and out of like 4 different players from Florida. Unbelievable play towards the end where Tkachuk goes down on all fours and not on all fours, slides on his belly actually, and saves a goal. But when he saved it, it went to McDavid, who then deposited it. They win 5-3. That series is 3-2 going back to Edmonton. There was some stuff today, this morning, football-wise. I think it was football-wise. Or no, basketball-wise. Siakam's going to sign a huge contract with the Indiana Pacers. And I think there was something else. I forgot what I saw, right? Was
Monty Williams.
Yeah, Monty Williams got fired at the Detroit Pistons. So Monty Williams is a really good coach who has surprisingly also bounced around a little bit.
Why are you firing him June 19th or June 18th?
Yeah. Well, it is the 19th. Are they? Yeah, today's the whatever. Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and also, Juneteenth. We have to also a celebration of that today, which is why traffic was so light. But yeah, Juneteenth. If you're not sure what it's all about, the freedom of slaves and all, look it up. It's always good to learn things all the time. So look it up, take it in, see. You can always learn something about what happened in our past. So there you have the national stories. Last night was so great, Aim. I have to admit, a little chuckle on my face, like kind of like that, sort of. Yeah, it was even more of a. Because you weren't here yesterday because you were doing that sick thing. A lot of the things we talked about yesterday was surrounding the Phillies. Johan Rojas gets sent down and all that. So it was like, well, yeah, you got to look for a bat and all. But if Nick Castellanos would only come through, maybe that all would be better. Nick Castellanos gets 4 hits last night. That was pretty cool. Yeah, but, why does Bryson Stott, why isn't he taking any of the blame? He's not doing anything this year. His batting's been bad. Boom, Bryson Stott came through last night. Like, I love that that's what sports is.
Yes.
And that's what baseball is. It's what makes sports and baseball so great. didn't have a chance to talk to you about the outfield thing. So Johan Rojas gets sent down. Just your thoughts on that initially.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it when I was here on Monday, and that we thought that's what was going to happen.
Right.
And I think that the end result is going to be Rojas is back and Pache is gone, because that's, I think, the move that eventually that's going to need to be made. They just were able to, as I think I put it, kick the can kind of further down the season on that, because there's still options with Rojas. So I get why they did it. The idea, though, that you want Rojas to get better because he's a younger player and that's going to be in your system, it makes sense to keep him up. But right now, I think you just couldn't afford to do that. You're like, all right, well, we'll keep who we can. You can have him go down there and get as many at-bats as possible. But I think if you're committed to him, you have to be committed to him, because now you have two platoons out there in the outfield.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal.
No, it's not ideal. And we were talking yesterday about, well, what do you do? Like, what do you do with this whole situation? Is it as easy as, just go out and get a big bat and plop them in left field, and then your center field will be, Marsh or Rojas. Maybe you go lefty-righty when, the matchup says that to do. But I was saying this yesterday, and it was funny. I was talking to a buddy of mine on the way home about it, because he listened and he commented on it. When they are fully healthy, are you okay with Marsh hitting 8th and Rojas hitting 9th?
I am.
And that's a really good defensive outfield.
I'm good with that. I'm good with Marsh playing every day.
I said that. Yeah, I don't know if you listened yesterday and you're sick in condition, but I am too.
Yeah.
I think Marsh can become more of a major league hitter the more he plays.
And that's the thing. So the numbers, as far as, versus lefty versus righty, I understand. But how can you get better if you're not out there?
Yeah.
So, and I think for him, mentally, it must be exhausting. Like, as soon as he sees the pitching lineup, oh, great, okay, well, I won't be playing this day. Like, I don't know. Would he rather, does that affect him at all? He had a nice night last night, I thought. And I just think that he's a guy, you traded for him. He's a good player. He's good in the outfield. Why don't you commit to him staying in your outfield, no matter who's pitching? But personally.
270 on the year, 269, 6 homers, 27 RBI, has at-bats, 175 at-bats this season.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a lot at all. It's only projected out to be 380, 390, right around there. Yeah, I want to see him out there every day. I'm okay. Like, I just thought it funny that we were talking about so much yesterday, and the morning show was talking about the catcher situation, and Stubbs, 0 for 3 last night with 3 strikeouts and just kind of key times. But I think I'm okay with this outfield situation. Would you go out? Now, Ray brought up yesterday of there's somewhere in between getting a bopper in left field that at the by the trade deadline, or like a better fourth outfielder. Is that how you would label it, Ray?
Yeah, someone that could be starting level, but not necessarily your 200 hitter. Like someone that probably fits a little bit stronger in the hitting, maybe not as great a fielder. I don't think you're getting as good a fielder as like a Pache out there on the market if you want to improve hitting, but probably a better hitter in terms of what you're getting in the outfield than what you have right now. And again, that's between your 200 hitters and the guys that are going to hit 35 home runs.
Sure.
And you won't have to give as much up for a player like that. I mean, we talked to Zielecki on Monday, Robert would be a ridiculous price.
Yeah, probably, because they're going to ask for it. We were saying,
so. It's a very friendly contract that he's on. They're going to try to get a lot.
And whenever it's brought up and the question has been asked, around, we bounce it around because of trade deadline and all, are you okay giving up prospects? I always am. Even back in the day, you can't, Six-Toe, you can't trade him, no way. Yeah, you can, and you did. And the Draybecks and all of the prospects.
Remember when Don Brown was untouchable?
Don Brown, untouchable after he played 3 great weeks of baseball. I'm always Aiden Miller, though, for some reason, is a guy that what I'm hearing, I'm not going to lie and say I've seen him play.
He had another home run, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. So
yeah, he did have one this week. That might be one guy that I'm not looking.
Hold on to that guy. I wouldn't mind holding on to Andrew Painter.
Yeah. So the line that was given to me by my friend yesterday when I was home was, after listening to the show, he goes, this is sports and thing changes day to day. You have to look at the overall picture. He goes, it ain't broke. Why are you looking to fix it? And my response to him, and he was talking about the Phillies when they're fully healthy. And, they're not fully healthy now, and they're still going really well. I said, yeah, but you're always looking to improve. And he says, oh, no question. You're always looking for perfection in sports. You're exactly right. But what they had was the best in sports.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to fix that?
Because we always want to get better.
Yeah. But it did. It made me go back to, yeah, man, when they are healthy and you have only Castellanos would be hitting 7th and you'd have Marsh hitting 8th and Rojas, Pache, whoever's in center hitting 9th. Okay, that's pretty good because defensively it's great.
I think that's the most important. You're really banking on the top of your line. Once JT Realmuto gets back, then you have him and Trey Turner. I think that gives us so much more consistency to that lineup. So you're looking at 1 through 6. There's really not a lot of worry offensively.
No.
And I think that's where, when you're building a team, it's like we were looking at the lineup with the Orioles. Talk about top heavy. Like their bottom of their lineup is just.
Yeah.
Cedric Mullins is like 183. 200. It doesn't matter because their top half is so good, and you saw that on display. And I thought, well, that's how you have to build a team like this. It's not going to be 1 through 9.
Right. And Castellanos at 209 going into yesterday, and we talked about it and said, I think Bill was saying kind of like he doesn't trust that he's going to bounce back to kind of be the back of his card, which is like a 270 hitter. No, I don't think he's going to hit 270 this year.
That would be incredible.
I have said all along, I think he's going to get up to 240. That's exactly the number that I had. And in order to do that, that's probably about 280, 290 for the rest of the year. I don't know. But recency bias, yes, he was horrible in the last half of the playoffs last year. But he was also unbelievably good in the first part of the playoffs last year. Let's not forget, 29 home runs, 106 RBIs, 36 doubles last year. We can't forget that. There is a Nick Castellanos, I believe, in there that's better than the 209 we've seen so far.
Yeah, I just think patience at the plate has to be the order of the day for him. I mean, you're seeing it. He's going to get good pitches because of where he's batting, and I feel like he's pressing. I don't think that. I think if you asked him, he's talked about how he was when he was struggling a little bit more, last week and the week before and the week before that, how he was trying to press a little bit. But when everybody else is hitting, I can give you a little bit more leeway. Less, stress, less pressure on you. And I feel like all he needs is 1 or 2. 1 or 2 games like we saw last night. And obviously 4 for 4 is a little extreme. But I'm talking about like a 1 for 4, 2 for 4 with good at-bats.
Yep.
Not these first pitch. Like sometimes when he was really scuffling and it was like hovering right around 200, you should have just started him 0-2. That's a tough mentality for him, right?
It is. And I said that often when he was really slumping. I said 1-2, actually. Throw him up there with 1-2 count because it seems like it's either that or 0-2 all the time. He loves to first pitch swing. There's no question about it. When he's at his best, though, he's not swinging just anything first pitch swinging. Like, if it's in the dirt, low and away, we've seen it. When he's slumping, he's going after it. When he's hitting well, he's, like you said, patient enough that he doesn't go after that. I think we're going to see a little bit of an uptick from him. Actually, a bit of an uptick from him because 209, to me, just isn't Nick Castellanos. I'm okay. Ray, I don't know why it was ringing in my head last night because I'm not sure if you said this or alluded to it. If you go back to the lineup that started this season, if this team is fully healthy, if it is Marsh in left field and Rojas, Pache, whoever you want to put there in center, can that team win a World Series, or did you say you didn't think it could?
Yeah, I think that team can because of the pitching.
Okay.
Again, that's where it comes down to. Like, that team can do it. Of course, you're going to look to upgrade outfield just because you want this team to be as good as it possibly can. But if you look at the pitching that they have right now, if it hums the way it has through the first 3 months of this season, the sky's the limit for this group. Truthfully, I mean, that's just the way. That's the truth of the matter for me. When it comes to what they have in terms of pitchers, you can win with that lineup.
And it was cool last night on the field after the game. Nick Castellanos is and Amy, we've been around it 100 times. He's one of those athletes that's not easy to interview. Like, you have to make sure you're asking questions that get answered.
Yes, very
He's the
specific.
who, what, where, when, why guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't give him a yes or a no.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know, some
no leading
people
question either.
won't ask questions. They'll make statements and expect for you to speak. And
it's a really good game, right? And it's like,
right.
Some people would jump in. He's not that guy.
And Ben Davis' question last night, first question, kind of did that. And it was like a one-word answer, and Tom had to jump right in. But Tom's question was cool. He said, what about this bullpen? What do you see from them when you're out in the field and they come in doing the job that they were doing? And he was really cool about it. He goes, yeah, you guys just see it here, and I'm paraphrasing. You guys just see it here on the field during the game. That's fun. You don't see the work that they put in and how close they are to each other and how they don't, feel bad for themselves because somebody else is maybe getting a spot that they thought they would be in.
I thought that was an important part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, like jealousy or anything like that.
No, none of that at all. So just a great win for that Phillies team last night. Ricky was great when what did they go to them in the 7th inning or the 6th?
Seventh inning.
So they go back to the studio in the 7th, and he and Michael Barkan, who's going to be joining us at 11 o'clock, Michael will. But Ricky said, look, they're not out of it, man. It's 3-1 game. I'm not ready to throw it in. When Ricky said it, I felt myself like nodding my head.
Yep.
Yeah, this team has really made you feel that way. And sure enough, they come through. Bryce Harper, did you have any doubt? I was only surprised that he only got a single.
Yeah, right.
That was my only surprise about his at-bat there. Going to third on the single by Alec Boehm. That's incredible. That is incredible base running.
I feel like he scores from first all the time.
Yeah, right?
All the time.
Yeah.
He
gets on, he scores.
And I know that he's had some base running blunders in the past, and some of them egregious. Obviously, we remember against the Braves, and you've seen stuff where people, he doesn't trot, he trots down to first. He's a pretty good pace runner.
He is. I think he's in a bad habit on that, though.
About trotting down to first?
Yeah, I do. I think because there was one shot that he hit the other day, and he started to take that first step, and then I think he was like, oh, come on, I got to run. I don't blame him. People get in bad habits all the time in life, and not just sports, as you very well know. Like Lou Williams, when I was covering the Sixers, he got in a horrible habit of he was pump faking every time he went to shoot. And I asked him about it after a game one time. I said, dude, it looks like you're pump faking even when you don't have to. And he said, I am. You're absolutely right. I am in such a bad habit of every time I catch the ball.
It's just
he
natural.
says, I got to work on it. I think Bryce Harper just got himself into a little bit of a bad habit that when he hits the ball and he thought it was going to be an out, his first thing was jog. And he'll get himself out of that bad habit, I think.
You can see him almost like he picks it up like, oh, wait, nope, I'm going to first.
Yeah, absolute great base running by him last night. All right, as I mentioned earlier, and we're going to get to this a little bit more, Willie Mays passing last night. A guy whose numbers are right in my head. I knew right off the bat 660 home runs, 3,200 plus hits. 24 All-Star games. 24.
Incredible.
And he missed a year because of the Korean War. Just incredible numbers. So one of the greats of all time, Willie Mays, passing away. My first question is going to be about that. Who is, and Andrew was alluding to it a little bit earlier, but I'm putting it a little bit differently. Who is your greatest player of all time? No, I'm not saying, look, I'm not talking numbers. I'm not talking all-time leading scorers. Who is your greatest player of all time? Like I asked my wife, hers was Larry Boa. Okay. He's not anywhere near the greatest shortstop of all time, but that's her greatest player of all time. Who's yours? 610-632-0975. Amy's with us all day long today. Hopefully Sean is too. We'll see if Amy kicks him out or not, but we got Sean Kane with us, which is awesome. This is Midday Shows. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. welcome back on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Hope everybody's doing okay as we're at the 10:30 hour here at The Fanatic, talking Phillies for the first part of this show, because that was a fun game last night. And, you know, you get off the air, we get done work or whatever, and when you talk to friends, a lot of times it'll be about, or at least for me, I can't speak for others, it'll be something you talk about. You'll get a text from a friend or whatever. I have this one buddy who gets off of work pretty much the same time I do, and it's call me when you can. So I called him yesterday, and he did. He had the line that said, look, it ain't broke. Why are we trying to fix it? Because he was alluding to the show yesterday where we talked a lot about Nick Castellanos and then Bryson Stott and then what to do in that outfield. And then I just loved it, that what we talked about, Nick Castellanos goes out and has 4 hits. Bryson Stott goes out, gets a couple of hits, a huge RBI to tie the game in the 9th inning. I'm sorry. Just those different things that went on. I thought it was great. Now, is there something, though, that they should fix this year, Aim?
I mean, yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to talk? Well, I was going to be specific.
Go for it.
They had to call up this dude because the starting catcher got hurt.
Yes.
And
boo-boo on his knee.
Yeah, he got surgery. And that's good. He talked yesterday, said 4 weeks looked good.
Says he's going to come back, feels like it's going to be 100%.
Saw a picture of him, going around the field and stuff. No brace, nothing on the knee, on his right knee. Everything appears to be fine. He said he had the exact same surgery done the 19th, and 4 weeks later he was fine, good to go, recovered quickly from that. So JT Realmuto appears that he's on that. I'll be back right after the All-Star game. That's great. You have Rafael Marchand back there who looks pretty good. Had 4 hits the other night.
Yeah. Has a nice throw him out.
And kudos to Garrett Stubbs for having a throw out last night. Strikeout, throw out, double play. Would you do that this year? If in the next month it becomes apparent that Marchand is just better than Stubbs. I'm not saying he's hitting 300 and blasted so many home runs, this and that. But if it's just noticeable, like, okay, he's better defensively. He gives you more of a chance for something up at the plate. Could you do that this year, Aim?
You could just keep Marchand. You mean to make a move?
3 catchers?
No. I would release Captain Vibes.
Well, that's a big. You're saying it casually. I think that's kind of big.
Is it
How
big
do you think
because
it would
he's
hit? Yeah.
Chief Vibes Officer?
I mean, is there not something to that, or what?
Yeah, I think
I can't, Sean. I almost embarrassed to say this in front of you. Your mom is cold. She just went like, yeah, see you, Stubbs, thanks.
No, I mean, you asked me what I would do. You didn't ask me if I thought it was a good idea.
All right, so you would, I think, if everybody's looking at it baseball-wise,
if you just
Marchand,
look at
right.
Yeah. But no, I think that would affect the clubhouse. I think that he's an important piece of that clubhouse. And I know we joke about it, and I joke about it especially, but they call him, the Chief Vibes Officer for a reason. I think people really enjoy being around him. I think the clubhouse atmosphere is important on a team that's winning and is 20-something games over 500.
Okay, so let me ask you it in a different way. What do you think the Phillies would do if over this next month it is apparent to everyone that Marchand is just a better catcher than Garrett Stubbs? JT Realmuto in a month. Yep, he's going to be activated today. Would you think the Phillies would ever do that this year?
I don't. What do you mean? You think
the Phillies, not you? Yeah, they would say goodbye to Garrett Stubbs.
No, I don't think the Phillies would do that this year.
Okay, what about you, Ray? If it becomes just so apparent that Rafael Marchand is better, it's just a better catcher. He's just a better major league catcher, and nothing against Garrett Stubbs. Do you think, first of all, would you do it?
It's going to take more than a couple weeks. And the reason I don't think they do it is because
No, not that you.
Well, and the reason they won't do it is the same reason why I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you about them.
Right, yes, but I'm giving you both reasons right now. Marchand hasn't proven to stay healthy at any level. That's something that they're going to have to take into consideration. We talked about with outfield decision, organizational depth. If Marchand, if it comes to the situation where I don't know how many options he has left, I don't know what the deal is with him going back down to the minor leagues, and if that becomes a problem in this scenario, then yeah, maybe you can say goodbye to Stubbs and you just try and roll it out with Marchand. But I already feel like they're thin with catching in general in this organization, and if they would go that route with a backup catcher that hasn't stayed healthy and a catcher at 33 years old, it's risky. I understand of the two catchers, all things equal, Marchand right now looks like he's the better catcher. And going into last offseason, I'll be honest, with the whole pool comment, the way I thought everyone was going towards, the way everything kind of swung against Stubbs there at the end, I was like, ooh, I think this might just be Marshawn time because they seem to value him in the organization. It did end up happening last year, but I felt this conversation was going to come a lot sooner than it did. And the reason
he got hurt.
It didn't because Marshawn got hurt again.
Yeah, interesting. So our first question today is we're talking Phillies. Willie Mays passing away yesterday at the age of 93. One of the, maybe may say the greatest baseball player of all time. Who's somebody that you just, I kind of phrased it differently before, but after thinking about it, who was somebody that you loved watching, like more than anybody else? You just loved watching this player play. And it kind of came to me today. I remember talking to an assistant coach for the Sixers back when I was covering them, and he used that phrase. I just love watching this kid play. And he was talking about T.J. McConnell. And, so that's the difference in ways that you look at it. Most talented? God, no. Doing things on the court that made, others or himself look the best out there? God, no. But just loved watching him play because getting out of his skill level, what he got out of it. Who was your favorite, or maybe who is your favorite player to watch play? 610-632-0975. M in the Northeast has some Willie Mays stuff. M, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, Bob, I've been listening since day one, and I really appreciate the positivity.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
With one caveat, my boy Ray Dunn, you just got to leave him alone, man. He's doing his job.
He's like clay, M. Like, I have to mold him. Sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes it might sound ugly. But if you saw behind the scenes what goes on with him, you'd understand where I'm coming from, buddy.
Don't let him talk you through that. No.
Well, I'm 74 years old, so I know how old of a head you are. Listen, went to Connie Mack Stadium. Willie Mays was always my favorite baseball player, and I'm a 4-for-4 guy. I'm not a fraud fan, whatever. Ball is hit to right center field. Mays takes after it. There's no shot he's going to get it. He leaps up. His back is parallel to the ground.
Wow.
He's got the basket catch. He's going, he's flying through the air, and all of a sudden you hear thwack from the wood fences at Connie Mack Stadium. He rolls over, gets up, puts the ball in his hand, and the place exploded.
Wow.
That's Willie Mays to me. It's just that somebody said last night when I posted on Facebook, they said, Mike, it looks like another part of your childhood died. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. And it shouldn't be a surprise he was 95 years old. And another thing, because I was always involved in the Hank Aaron versus Willie Mays discussion. And my big thing was, how many home runs would Willie Mays have hit if he didn't play at Candlestick? He would have broken that record. I'm firmly convinced about that. But then again, I'm biased. So,
Em, thanks so much for the call. That is great stuff. Thanks, Em. We really appreciate it. First of all, I have to address this. Ray was dancing when Em said, you're an old head like me. I am nowhere near 74 years old. So, Em, we appreciate you, but your math's a little bit off. And Amy, I swear, don't make that face.
I just looked over to see what Ray was doing.
Ray dance because he called me that. Ray was dancing in his, he even got out of his chair to dance
Fist bump
on that
there.
one.
I appreciate
Get some praise for Ray and an old head.
Yeah, Em, you're good in my book.
Yeah, I always call him. He'll go top of the list.
And a little black cloud over him. But
poor guy.
So it's funny. He brings up Henry Aaron. I brought this up on the crossover. First game I ever went to, I was younger than Sean here. I was 6 years old, and my dad took me to a game. So, as I told you, my parents didn't drive. My sister had a boyfriend. Somehow my dad got 4 tickets. So my sister's boyfriend, my sister, my dad, and I went to a Phillies game. They were playing the Braves. And Hank Aaron hit a double in the game to win the game 2-1 for the Braves.
Of course he did.
My dad said to me, he's like, look, I'm telling you, don't ever forget this.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest players ever. And so that when Andrew was asking me a question of who do you think of when you first think of baseball, Mike Schmidt was my answer. But if I went on a national level, it was like Henry Aaron.
There's just certain players, and that's across all sports, that they kind of just go on to defy your regular fandom. You just appreciate what they're doing.
Right.
I think you should be able to find one. If you really like sports, you should be able to find one in each sport that you follow.
Sure.
Like maybe you don't like them necessarily or you don't like their team, but you have an appreciation for that player.
Yeah,
just because
exactly.
of what they're able to do.
And it's funny. Andrew was asking us, like, who do you think of? And I went and said, and he goes, oh, you're going off Philadelphia players. And I said, well, you have to remember, when I was growing up, that's all you saw.
Yeah.
You didn't have national games all over the place. You didn't have ESPN. You didn't have, I can turn on MLB Network and watch whatever. You just had, that's why, running home from school when I was little during World Series and playoffs, because there was afternoon playoff games, like the Oakland A's were playing and the Cincinnati Reds. You didn't see them all that much, especially American League teams.
Well, and that's the thing. The only growing up for me, I didn't grow up here in Philadelphia. I've lived here now almost 16 years, but everybody, you could watch the Cubs. You could watch the Braves always because you got WGN and you got TBS.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were either Cubs or Braves, especially where I grew up, which is in Richmond, Virginia, where the AAA affiliate for the Braves used to be. Everyone loved the Braves.
Yeah.
My grandma, she loved the Braves until, I think I've told the story, until she couldn't see it anymore. She had to listen, and living in the Northern Virginia area, or Virginia, she only could hear the Nationals. So she became a Nationals fan, and we're like, Grandma, that's not great, but we're going to get, you do you, Grandma. You do you. But yeah, so it's like you grew up watching certain players, and that's all you could see. That's all you knew. It wasn't like you had all the. Now you can watch every single game you want.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of great memories. We're talking about who was your favorite athlete, or was or is your favorite athlete to watch of all time, as the passing of Willie Mays happened yesterday at the age of 93. Michael Barkan's going to join us at 11 o'clock. We have had a whole lot more coming to you. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays as we get close to the 11 o'clock hour. Amy Fadul with us today, along with son Sean, who is just like, we all love kids. Sean is me as a little kid. 9 years old, knows, not that I knew everything, knows everything about sports.
Knows a lot, yeah. Knows a lot about sports.
Have a conversation with him. It's like talking to an adult, So I commend you and your husband, Sean, for, I always looked at my kids when they were little. How do they talk to adults? I have a new friend today. He's not your kid. He's my friend.
That's good.
Yeah.
You did call him.
He's my friend.
I think I said Mr. Cooney, and you said, don't call me that.
Don't call me Mr. Cooney. You can call me Bob. It's funny because my kids are at the age where I think they're friends because, we're friendly with them. And
right.
me. I'm I act like, I know you think I'm close to dead, but I kind of act like an idiot.
You're experienced.
Yeah. So some of his friends, one of my son Kyle.
He's your friend too.
Yeah, he's my friend too. One of his best friends have no problem calling us Bob and Donna.
Yeah, there's always like a shift though.
There is. Like they're in their mid-20s now.
There's still some people that I still call. I mean, I'm in my 40s and I still call my parents' friends. Hello, Mr. and Mrs.
So do
whomever.
I. Oh, and that will never change.
And they say it every time. Oh, please call me Chris. Please call me whatever.
No,
I'll try it. Maybe on the second try I can get there, but not initially.
That's us holding on to our youth also. By calling. Yeah. Yeah, but our daughter Jenna, we're Bob and Donna. That's my reaction to it. I laugh. If push came to shove, like if she needed something, it would probably be, Dad, I have a flat tire. Can you come help me? But no, she if I'm in the house here, Bob. And I'm like, what? She goes, where are my keys or something?
That must be jarring.
It is. It's funny. At first, she's just different. It makes me smile every time. And most of the time, well, she does do it a lot now. And I remember telling John about that, and he was like, he had this look on his face like, that's disrespectful.
No, it's kind of funny.
You have to read the situation. Yeah. Everything is different. I don't have a guide to parenthood. I tell my kids all the time, I try my best.
Yeah,
that's
no
all
one
I
does.
can do. Yeah, and
no manual.
I'm going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. But, you just try your best. But I do. I appreciate your son, Sean, because my thing with my kids always was watching them when they were younger and how they spoke to adults. Yeah. He's an aces. Aces, absolutely. Right. Tom in Alabama, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Tom?
Yo, Bob, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Listen, buddy, I think I have a problem with our emails. I keep getting your email. You send me emails, I reply, and my replies keep coming back to me. Are you not getting my emails?
No, I'm not.
Okay, we got to fix something on that. I'll give you a call after the show, and we'll fix that up, all right?
It sounds cool, man. Real quick, purely coincidental, I want to give a big, big shout-out to a cool cat, a great guy, hell of a friend. I hadn't talked to him in like 10 years, Michael Barkin. Please give him my best when he comes on. Just one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to, gotten to know. He's come through here. Just a cool cat.
He's all right. He's all right. I think you're overdoing it a little bit,
No,
Tom, but
he's good stuff.
I'm just kidding you, buddy.
Hey, I'll tell you, that was great last night. And, I find myself watching these games. I'm glad they come on earlier, and I'm glad they get over quicker. But, man, I think right now, at 75 games, it'd probably be 50 and 25. In a subpar National League, I'm taking that into consideration. There's only 3 other teams over 500 or four in the National League. But I think we need to go all in here. That kid Miller, who referenced Mike Schmidt to him, who's my favorite player of all time, for the record. But him, even Painter, Rojas, all these guys are on the table to get a couple outfielders, not 1-2 with right-handed bats. And I'm going to tell you right now that Realmuto, I want to give another shout-out to JT Realmuto. The last 6 years, that guy has provided for the Phillies, and he's made money. Yeah, he could have made more. He's a quiet, calm leader, and you see what's happening when he's out. And the Phillies are not going to win anything if he's not behind that plate in October. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, Tom, thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you about that stuff. But go all in. It's interesting. Yeah. It goes back to how we started the show, and it'll be a theme throughout the show. Are you trying to fix something that ain't broken? I understand getting better.
Yeah, I think
do.
That's the line.
But you also have to look to the future a little bit. Now, Tom said, Jaiden Miller, Painter, Rojas, yeah, put those guys all on the table. They're good to go as long as I can go all in for bigger bats. I don't know. I don't know if I'm there. I don't mind parting with prospects.
Yeah, I feel like all in, it needs to mean two different things. All in, like leveraging everything. I don't know that they need to do that. All in, like maybe making moves that are smart moves. Is that all in? I don't know. But for a team that's as good as they are, that could be kind of termed as all in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting topic that we'll get to all day today. Let me squeeze in Tony here because we're going to go to Michael Barkane at 11. So, Tony, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys. Great show.
Thank you, buddy.
Good. We just wanted a quick Willie Mays story. My father-in-law is from Upper Darby. He played at Monsignor Bonner, hoops in the Philadelphia Catholic League. It's part of his identity. And every Father's Day, I try to get him, a piece of memorabilia from his childhood. Mike Schmidt, whether it's Steve Carlton, whatever. And I saw this Willie Mays signed baseball, which I got for him. And I couldn't remember the story that he told me. He opened it up and he started crying. He said, my dad took me to see Willie Mays at Condé Nast Stadium. And he hit a home run. I'll never forget that memory.
Wow.
My dad was a Philadelphia cab driver. No money. Great stories about driving around Wilt. But just that feeling that you get around sports is it's pretty powerful.
That's great.
Agreed.
Tony, thanks so much for sharing that
good
story.
stuff.
That's awesome. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I like when people share stuff like that because it means something.
Like I told you, my dad was a man of few words. He really was. And emotion, you didn't see an awful lot of that unless he was, really mad or something like that. But the fact that he grabbed me by the arm and just said, don't ever forget this moment. And here it is.
Says a lot.
Here's a couple years later, not 70 years later, because I'm not there, even though you think I am. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk to Michael Barkane from NBC Sports Philadelphia. He's got a big outing tomorrow that we want to talk about. Also get his take on some things going on in the sports world. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. 11 o'clock here on Middays here at the Fanatic. Hope you go. Aim, do you remember opening up the show today?
That 10 o'clock hour?
10 o'clock,
what
right.
An
well, guess what?
hour.
That 10 o'clock hour was brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. So that's where we're at. A lot of Phillies talk today. Question out there that we have for you to begin the show. Who's your favorite athlete to watch play? Maybe it's somebody in the past. We've had a couple emotional callers of older gentlemen who, saw some of their history pass away last night as Willie Mays died at the age of 93. I understand what they were saying. Now, one guy got a little emotional because he saw Willie Mays play. Another one because his father did, and the reaction that his dad has to a Willie Mays. Sports does that to you.
I love that.
It is, and I'm watching it right here in front of my eyes. Literally, with you having Sean here and knowing how into sports he is, and you take him to a birthday party last night at the Phillies game, and all those things that go on, people make. I'm sure you've been. What do? You talk about sports, or oh wow, you were a sports writer and now you talk about sports.
People
Two
make
real
fun
tough
of you?
jobs. Oh yeah, and I never had a real job.
Well, no, that's probably true. But I've never had someone make fun of me. They say that's what you do for a living. It's usually like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, I should say that though. Although I don't know, people like to make fun of me, and you two are right at the top of the list. But
Never.
That doesn't sound
I have
like
never
us.
made fun of you.
I don't think
Never
that's
once.
not
if
accurate.
there was one person, I'll tell you how a phone call went the other day. Hey man, how's it going? Good. What's going on? Listen, want to have you on the show. You mind coming on the show on Wednesday? Yeah, got a Phillies game Wednesday. I said, well, how about 11 o'clock? Can you do that? Well, yeah, let me put it in my book. Let me check. I said, listen, I'll send you a text. I'll let you know 11 o'clock Wednesday. I'll send you a text as a reminder. Okay, yeah. I'm good. Okay, all right. And now you call and they don't answer.
Oh.
Does that sound like Michael Barkan to you?
He told me, I saw him yesterday, and he said he would be on at 11 o'clock.
Michael, where are you?
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe he's in. When I called him the other day, he said he was just about to get in the shower. Maybe he thought I meant 11 o'clock to go take another shower. I don't know. I don't know what.
All right, so maybe we will hear from him. Maybe we won't.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We just had somebody come down from another radio station here in the cluster. It's our friend Casey Boy from that WMMR station. Maybe you've heard of it. But he came down and had an interesting topic. He said, here's what you got to do next.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, when I tell you what to do on your, top-rated Hall of Fame show, that's when you can come down and tell us yours. But real quick, he said, who are the top 5 organizations that you absolutely would hate to see win championships? And, of course, it is on the heels of the Boston Celtics winning their 18th championship. I never really look at things that way. I'm not – and we were talking about this – no, we weren't talking about it. I was thinking about it the other day, about people saying, oh, God, I hate that the Celtics won a title. I hate the Celtics more than anything. And I was on Tyrone's show the other day. Growing up a kid – no organization made me get that lump in my throat, made me cry, made me hate them more than the Boston Celtics. I don't know. A few years have passed since I was a little kid, not as many as you and Ray think, but a few have. I don't feel that way towards other organizations as much now.
It's kind of like,
focus, yeah.
Do you think that's because you've worked in the industry or if it's because time has passed?
Both. I really do think it's both. And I don't get her. But if I were to put that out there, I'll put it to Ray because he wasn't in the studio when Casey came in here to talk about it. Ray, if you had 5 organizations that it bothers the heck out of you, and then I'll let you make the phone call again if you don't mind, to win a championship, who would they be?
The 5 organizations. Let's see. Well, the Cowboys are clearly one. The Mets have to be in there. Braves.
Yes.
So that's 3. All right.
Is there a hockey one for you?
I mean, I don't want to see the Penguins win it.
Casey had that one, and we were like, is it still? And he goes, as long as Sidney Crosby's there. And it's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that way about them. I also, right now, I think it's harder when you feel like you're competing with the team to go win a championship. seeing another team jump you in front of line. Like right now, it hurts more with the Celtics because the Sixers, I feel like, should be in a contention window, and I see the Celtics get it. Hurts a little bit more. So Celtics, Cowboys, Braves, Mets. And for 5, right now, honestly, if you like kind of put the finger on the pulse, I don't want to see the 49ers win anything.
Yeah.
So it's like a very current right now moment. But seeing the 49ers win.
I feel like they've jumped up there.
Yeah, just because they're a bunch of whining babies, kind of.
Yeah, I don't hate that. They kind of are.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
There's a trilogy, so I use kind language on that one. Whining babies is the way I'm going to refuse.
And it's
a
funny.
family show.
Yeah, like I do feel I've done this for a long, long time, and I told you the epiphany that I had when I was like 17, Amy, of my basketball teammates being over, watching the Cowboys game, and I backed up while they were screaming and hollering. I was like, how's this going to affect my life, whether the Eagles win or lose?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I want them to, but I did. I looked at sports differently then. I looked at it for the entertainment, for the fun of it. I smiled to watch people. A former coworker of ours, when he would see a Philly team lose, like, would come in here and say, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, that's our job.
Yeah.
You know, like, but that's how invested he is in his teams. And when one of his favorite teams lost recently, you know, he sends me a text, all capital letters, some of the words I have to leave out. But I hate sports. I don't know why. You know, this is a 34-year-old man that gets this worked up over his teams losing or the team he hates winning. And Ray's sitting there with a smile on his face because he knows exactly of whom I am speaking.
Yes, and I also love your perspective on it because I might not be to that level, but I really sympathize with them on that one. Like, sometimes, Bob, your ability to remove yourself from the emotion of it and the, just
it's
fanatical
annoying.
Nature is not annoying. Annoying's not the word.
Okay.
For me, it's admirable because...
That's
Yeah,
even nicer.
See, I complimented him. Mark it down. Maybe we'll start doing that. We'll mark it down every time I say something.
We won't have a segment, so don't worry about that.
Oh, no,
Very
don't worry.
short
It'll be
report.
quick. It'll be a monthly segment.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's admirable
Got a
because
kick out of him.
I can't.
Did you hear the little kick?
I can't imagine. Like just being able to. My day's not ruined. My week's not ruined.
Yeah, and
my week's ruined. Like, I'll be honest with you. Even last night, I found myself like, come on, please, just beat this Padres team. Please.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Do I feel better going to bed that the Phillies come back and win that game? And would I have felt worse? Yeah, I do. And I tell you guys this all the time. I wake up in the morning, and it's the God's honest truth. I will not put my feet on the floor until I think of a positive thought. And many times it is the sporting event. Oh, cool. That's right. The Eagles won yesterday. Work's going to be even better today. Boom, feet on the floor. This morning it was different because I'm doing something with my son today, which is cool. So that was my good thought. And that, my wife has off of work today. That was one of my good thoughts too. So, but I am that way. And I don't know, Amy, it's a great question. Did it come with time or because of my past profession?
Or both.
Or both.
He was born to be a sports writer.
I think it is both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is both. Now, how about you? You have to react on air. You're on TV. You're on here. Like, your reaction is true and natural. But don't you feel like you can't go on air and just be like, God, those Eagles, I can't stand they didn't run the ball more. You're factual in what you have to present.
Get fired up. I mean, I get frustrated. Maybe not. It doesn't ruin my day, but there's a lot of frustration. It's like, really? Like, Sixers are really going to just lose? Great, perfect. Yep, this is going to happen. We're going to watch it. In every, I'm doing like the Eagles games and there's nonsense games. And I'm like thinking, what's happening right now? It's more of a frustration than like letting it take over my day. But there's definitely carryover. The thing that I struggle with is when people, cheer for it's not the right word, but they're not mad when the team that beat them goes on to win. They actually want that team to win because like it makes it feel better.
Yeah, I never.
But there's a lot of people that are like that.
There are.
Which I get on its face. And I'm like, I can't, like, people wanted the Knicks to go on to do really great things because of how that series went. I don't want the Knicks to do anything great.
Right.
Because of how that series went.
And when I say I never thought that way, I'm not putting people down that do think that way. I never thought that way.
There's still some times where maybe I'm farther removed from it, but like my college team, that used to wreck my day.
Yeah.
And now I'm just so used to it. And it's like, oh, well, this is what we do.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. That poor Kentucky basketball
They haven't won a tournament game in forever. A tournament game. Think about that. Oh.
Her husband's a Villanova fan, so she had that going for her, too.
Yeah.
Well, that's his fandom, not mine.
I'm not sure how to pronounce the name from Drexel Hill that we got going on right now. What is your name, Imran?
Yes, it's a Muslim name.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What's
nice.
going on? How you doing today?
Not too good.
Oh,
I'm an old head. I'm 67, and all my childhood heroes are fading. So
Yeah.
we had Willie Mays today, and like Jim Brown, and Bill Russell, and Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, all those guys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad. And I have one story about Willie Mays. My father took us to a game in Chicago. It was the Giants against the Cubs. So Willie Mays hit the ball. I said, I'm going to see him hit a home run. It hit the wall, the top of the wall. But McCovey hit a home run. Billy Williams hit a home run. Ferguson Jenkins was pitching.
Wow.
So
That is
I have a lot.
quite the
Yeah,
game.
and plus my father, I don't know how he got him. I'm from D.C., but we were like on third row, first base side.
Great seats.
So, yeah, great seats. But yeah, I grew up on sports. My father I was like 6, and he let me stay up and listen to the first Ali Liston fight.
Oh, wow.
So I go way back with the different sports. But
So,
all those
Imran,
guys-
let me ask you a question that I'm putting out there to everybody today. Who was your
ahead.
favorite athlete to watch of all time?
I admit that Willie Mays was the best all-around player, but my favorite guy was Hank Aaron.
Okay.
I used to read the newspaper every morning to see if he hit a home run.
Yeah,
So,
that's one of my favorite stories too. Imran, thanks so much for the call. We really appreciate it. I've told this story before that when I was in first grade, my mom came down to be the yard mother when we went out for recess, and she's like, "Hey, Hank Aaron, he could break the record tonight." That's how cool my mom was to tell me I think I was in first grade. And then that night going home and watching, because I wanted to watch it by myself. And I grabbed my baseball glove, went up in my sister's room who had a little TV, and it was the game of the week. And I turned it on, Dodgers, Braves, and sure enough, Hank Aaron comes up against Al Dowling and hits home run number 714 or 715, I guess it was, to break Babe Ruth's record. And I'll never, ever, ever forget that.
Incredible.
And knowing that was going to be a moment that I would never forget. And you feel it for people like, Imran says he's losing a lot of the heroes from his past.
Well, that brings up to the other question, and you kind of brought it up in the break. Like, who is the greatest living baseball player right now? Because it was Willie Mays for the longest time. Obviously, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, regarded baseball players ever. I have him as my, the best ever when you look at everything that he was able to do. But you're thinking now, like, who is it?
It is. It's funny. Jake Dunphy was my friend. Jake Dunphy was the one who sent me that. Who is? Just a reminder, Michael Barkan. I'm sorry. This is weird. Last night we're watching post-game show, and my wife's in the bedroom. I'm out in my family room, and she sends me a text saying, I sent her a text. I forget. But she was watching. I said, Michael sounds like he's getting sick. Well, sure enough, Michael is sick. And he just texted Amy and I, and he's got a bad stuff going on, head cold and stuff like that. And he can't really talk without coughing. So he said, I think it's better I don't come on the show today. So we'll talk to Michael another time. What I wanted to talk to him about, he and his wife, Ellen, have a great foundation, and it's called Healing Hearts. And he has a golf outing tomorrow where it raises money for families that have lost people younger in their lives.
Yeah, sudden illnesses, accidents.
Yeah. So he has a golf outing tomorrow that raises a lot of money for it. Michael's class act, as we all know, and a great guy. Amy and I and Ricky have been lucky enough to have been asked to play in this tournament for years. Mm-hmm. And it is a great tournament, a lot of fun. And honest to God, I would feel horrible if I missed it. So I am taking the day off tomorrow. Amy's going to take off tomorrow. I guess Ricky is too. I don't know. But yeah, we'll be over and playing
There's
in
no
that.
Phillies game.
There is no Phillies game.
I
That's
assume
right.
he's not doing radio from there. I assume not.
Yeah, so just a special cause. And luckily, I remember being at the first one, and Michael telling me about this foundation that he and his wife founded, for lack of a better term, and it's so great, and the passion that he has, and the family that it's named after, he brings to the tournament obviously every year, and they tell their story, and it's great. It's just a great day tomorrow, so looking forward to that.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun.
Well, always a lot of good people out there too.
Now, last year, if I can take you behind the scenes a little bit, Amy was in the foursome behind us, fivesome actually, because they'll put a friend of Michael's goes with a foursome. I don't know if you have a foursome or a fivesome. But Amy hit me twice with a golf ball, hit up on us twice. I said, Amy, you might want to hold it. No, I can't hit it that far. Boom, 300 yards, hit me in the back of the leg twice.
None of this is true. Shawnee's looking at me like
absolutely true.
I believe it.
Look at his face.
You know.
Listen,
that's what she did to me, Sean.
I am long off
Your
the tee,
mom
but
hit
not
me
that
with
long.
2 golf balls last year.
It's not true.
Your father has a hell of a slice, too, by the way. That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It's a lefty.
So, yeah.
We'll call it a fade.
Yeah, so Amy and Sean and their group are on a tee, and we're, like, stopped. So I walk over to their tee, and we're talking or whatever. And I said, Sean, who I've known for as long as I've known Amy, maybe even a little longer. I probably knew him longer than you.
Longer, yeah.
I'm like, Sean, you play a lot? Whatever. He goes, oh, watch this. Honest to God, what he said. And he goes and tees up ball. I'm like, I was like, thinking in my head, wow, Sean's not braggadocious. So is he like showing? He lines up, I swear to God, like 500 yards to the right. He's a left-hander. And he hits it that way. But then it slowly comes back. He's got one of the worst slices I've ever seen.
And that tells you, he's like, do I play a lot? This is what I'm working with here.
Yeah. So
he does play. I mean, obviously his job, he works in sports as well, so it doesn't afford that much time, but he tries to get out there every now and then.
Yeah, that's cool. And playing together is cool.
Yeah, we get to play together often, somewhat often.
Yeah, that's nice. I took my wife out golfing one time. And
didn't go well?
No, it's not that it didn't go well. They had this thing near our old house where it was, I forget what they called it, 9 and something. So you played 9 holes on a Friday. It was real cheap, and then you had open free beer and food afterwards. I just don't think she loved it that much. Right. And that's fine. But a lot better than I didn't anticipate anything. She hit the ball pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, it was cool. And it just takes too long for someone that's not into it, golf. It's just a long day if you're not into it. But so Michael Barkan, we send you our best. Hope you're feeling better because he has a big day ahead of him tomorrow. Okay, when we get back, I want to hit on more of the favorite. We have a couple of texts here, but I want to hit more on your favorite athletes to watch. As I said, they didn't have to be the greatest of all time.
Right.
Maybe just your favorites to watch. Why would they be and who were they? 610-632-0975. Also, want to hit on some more Philly stuff, but we also have to look at who the Sixers may be looking at as the NBA draft is 1 week from today, Amy. All that and a whole lot more. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. fanatic, as Amy Fadoul is with us today, which brightens an already bright day outside. You're welcome. Along with son Sean, who I'm not kidding. I feel bad for all of you listening right now that have not met Sean. And I'm not kidding you. Like, you walk out of the studio and Sean and I are talking. I'm not talking to a 9-year-old. Like, I'm just sitting here talking to a buddy of mine. Like, I swear, Sean, I commend you. You are an awesome young man, and I'm glad that you and I are going to be friends for an awfully long time. That's right. So I asked our question of the day so far. We're talking about the death of Willie Mays, and we've had some great callers calling in about their memories of Willie Mays and how much it hit them, whether it be through their father's eyes or through their eyes, about losing an icon like that. It led to the question for me asking, who is your favorite athlete to watch of all time? And I asked Sean, and it's so cool. Sean's 9 years old and is so into sports. And he looks at me and he goes, you mean through highlights or? And I said, oh, you're talking about people that before you were born? He goes, yeah. And I said, yeah, you could do that. He goes, oh, Ken Griffey Jr. Like, that is such a great answer because when you think of favorite athletes, baseball is a sport where your athleticism isn't showed as greatly probably as in other sports. 9-year-old Sean, who has a future doing whatever he wants to do, that's a great answer. Just the sweet swing of a Ken Griffey Jr. Now,
great swing.
Easy the game. Now, Aim, I'll put the question to you because I didn't put it to you yet. We have some texts, also some YouTube people and hello, YouTube family. Sorry I didn't get a chance to say hi to you today. Mopar, I'm a little disgusted with you. Mopar's hung over today because he was in the Mo Bar last night. A little bit too much, but we got a good picture last night from, they sent me a picture.
That's
he
nice.
and his lovely girlfriend sent me a picture of him standing by the TV after the big hit. But your favorite athlete to watch of all time, Aim?
Yeah, I mean, there's some good ones out there. Your point about, because my first thought is usually basketball or football, because that's maybe you get to see a little bit more of like what the athlete can do.
Yeah.
So like I used to love growing up. I loved watching. I grew up in Virginia. I loved watching Mike Vick play.
Oh, yeah,
ball.
that's a good one.
Like that was like, he was incredible.
Oh.
He grew up about 25, 30 minutes from where I grew up. So we got to see him a little bit. My high school was not very good at football, but we would go and watch some of the regional finals. And then if you were lucky enough, you could go to the States. No surprise, a tremendous athlete. Allen Iverson, same way. But I remember when he burst on the scene at Virginia Tech, I thought, wow, like this is incredible. An incredible player.
I remember him making a run against Temple. It was almost like a sped-up version. You know how they show highlights back in the day and they'll speed it up? He went back. I don't know if it was a quarterback draw, but it was like an 80-yard run against Temple where he took off, and then it was just like he hit a speed that no one else could think of hitting.
It looked like a video game.
It actually did, yeah. Ray, how about you? You have an favorite athlete of all time to watch. Not like the best athlete, but just one that you liked watching the most. And maybe it was the best.
So I want to go down the path of like the best that I watched, and I thought, honestly, Amy, you surprised me. I thought you were going to go with LeBron, and I was thinking along the LeBron lines.
I mean, I do love LeBron.
Yeah.
I could watch LeBron any day of the week.
But I'm thinking about growing up and like, sorry, this is going to be the age thing again, but growing up and the athlete that I enjoyed the most, like just out of pure enjoyment of watching, KD. I was a massive Kevin Durant guy for a while. Not that I'm not now, but like just especially when he was getting going with the Thunder. That 2012 team, that was like prime. I was of the prime age of like, wow, LeBron should lose. Like that big three, I can't believe he did that. Now I look at myself like, come on, man. Like you were 12. What'd you know? Like KD and like that Thunder team, seeing him over the next couple of years. My brother and I growing up, like our biggest thing, he was a big Russell Westbrook guy. I was a big Kevin Durant guy. I was like, who's really the guy on that team? We had some great back and forths over that, but I loved watching Kevin Durant play. And he was always, young him, he's still exciting to watch, but young Kevin Durant was just something else.
Well, I remember when he was at Texas and me seeing him for the first time, like, oh, I got to check out this guy in Texas, this skinny guy. You know, really, is this guy going to translate? He was oh, wow, look at this. I still remember that. We have some great ones on YouTube. I'll tell you what, Russell Westbrook, for a couple of years there when I was covering the NBA, was my favorite player to watch in the NBA because of how hard he played. And I remember talking to Maurice Cheeks about it when he was an assistant down there and just saying how does this guy have a motor he's like, every day.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Bob, I'm not kidding you. He comes to play every single day. We have some good ones on YouTube. I'll get to them in a minute. But how about on the text line, Ray? 610-632-0975. Would love to hear, who is your favorite athlete to watch of all time?
All right. Patrick from Millville checking in. Loved watching Eric Lindros when he was healthy. So dominant, made me fall in love with hockey.
And Lindros came at a time where you either, it was after Gretzky, where Gretzky was a finesse, speed, a great shot, a great vision. Then all of a sudden you're saying, yeah, this guy's like Gretzky in that way, but he's also 6'4", 230.
Right.
And he brought that physicality and finesse game to the NHL. It's a shame that didn't be on full display for a longer period of time. What else we got, Ray?
Jerry in Virginia checking in, going through a couple of sports here. T.O. didn't want to miss a play, never knew what I'd see. Shame it was only 1 year here in Philly. Ryan Howard didn't want to miss an at-bat. Yeah, agreed with that one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
If we're going Philly-centric here, yeah, that's the one. My favorite ever to watch. Joel Embiid, no explanation needed.
You never are going to see with Joel.
Yeah.
Drop 45 on you.
Yeah, or 70. Yeah, that's
incredible.
It is, yeah.
He had a 70-point game this year.
Yeah, and then got hurt 4 games later. I know.
He said he wasn't 100% when he had it. Like, that's just remarkable.
It is. I thought of it at the time, not to get off subject because we'll get back to it, but I was like, oh, my God, is this a microcosm of his career? He goes for 70, and he's 4 games later, he's out for 30 games.
Yeah.
It is a shame. We have some great ones on the YouTube. We have a Ken Griffey Jr. also on here, just like Sean picked. Barry Sanders, which would be in my top 10 also. Barry Sanders was just so much fun to watch. Shady McCoy made it on here. Somebody said, I think Randy Moss was one. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Bo Jackson's on there, too.
Oh, Bo Jackson was,
one.
Yeah, that's a real good. I like Sean shaking his head in agreement. Yeah. Bo Jackson was 40 years before his time, but he knows, there's not much you don't know about sports, Sean. That's what I like. He reminds me so much of your husband. It's ridiculous, his mannerisms.
Very similar.
It's awesome. So that's the question we have out there right now. I have another one coming up in a little bit, but we're throwing it out there. Who was your favorite athlete to watch of all time? Tasty Cake Dom is on the line. Dom, what's going on? You're on The Fanatic.
Hey, Bob.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Dom.
I'm doing great and love listening to the show. Bob, sometimes you bring up a subject that makes me think of my dad and Mays and Aaron and Schmidt and DiMaggio. He always thought his giant sports take in history. He always thought those guys, what they did was more meaningful than what like Ruth and Gehrig and Ted Williams and Bonds did. Because my dad's take was the greatest edge in the history of sports is the bat left-handed. If you did those things as a right-handed bat, it was more meaningful than as a lefty.
Oh, how about that? Why do you think he thought that, Dom? I never thought of that.
Because it's much more difficult when that curveball that's coming at your head is curving away from you as opposed to curving into you. It's much
on
more
a right-handed arm, yeah.
Right. He would say there's a reason that the 2 guys got 4,000 hits are both lefties.
Wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. Dom, who is your favorite athlete to watch of all time?
I've told you that I think you might. We've talked about it a couple of times, Bob. When I was 14 years old, I saw Marvin Hagler fight 15 rounds against Vito Antuofermo, which that's a fight that doesn't get talked about. I thought it was the greatest fight I ever seen. It was a 15-round war, and then he was the middleweight champion for the next. He actually, that was a draw, Bob. He actually won the title against Alex Mintor, but he was the middleweight champion for 8 years, and I thought he was the toughest guy on earth for his whole.
That's a good one,
his fights were unbelievable.
Dom, it's so good to hear you sounding so strong and feeling so much better. So we're always here. Great to hear from you. Love when you make your calls. It's funny. Dom brings up a boxer that many people probably roll their eyes because boxing has, it's fallen off greatly since I was a kid.
Especially the heavyweights.
Well, I just became young Sean because I was going to say my favorite athlete ever to watch, and I wasn't even thinking of this, was Muhammad Ali. I never saw him. Well, I did see him live towards the end of his career. But I could sit and watch Muhammad Ali highlights like all day long.
That's a thing of beauty.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. And even late in his career, there's something on Twitter. Late in his career, he's fighting George Foreman, and he has his hands up on the ropes, standing in the corner, and Foreman throws 21 punches at him. Ali standing against the ropes. There's nowhere to move, or he didn't want to move. Has his hands on the ropes and has his face sticking out and avoided 21 straight punches.
That's insane.
And this was later in his career, because if you look at his body, you can tell he wasn't
the slim fit.
Yeah. So I think it's a really interesting question to put out there about favorite athletes of all time, because it shows you one of my passions. How do you watch sports?
Yes.
And I swear I'm going to write a book on it one day of the different ways to watch sports, because I think it's really cool. Tim on the cell. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Tim? Tim.
Hello?
How are
Hello?
you, buddy?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
I'm sorry. My name's Ken, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Ken. Sorry about Ken.
It said Tim on here. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. Thanks for taking my call. I love your guys' show. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. Real quick, and I think this would be a typical Howie move, and this is about the Eagles, and I have my favorite athlete then, but let's just say, I don't want to think about it, but let's say Hurts or Jalen Hurts gets hurt, injured for a little bit, and Kenny Pickett comes in, and he does really well, or at least, wins them a couple games. Howie's going to look like a genius if he can get a good trade value with him next year.
For Pickett.
I just think that, for Pickett, if he can get it, show that, hey, there's definitely something with him. There's always a team out there that's looking to change a quarterback or something. So I just think it's a really smart move by grabbing Pickett so cheap, and he could possibly get this guy flipped around and maybe get a third or fourth round pick out of it.
Amy got scared, Ken, that you were going another way.
I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, she thought you were going to say Pickett, take over for
I was
Hurts.
very nervous there, Ken.
Who's your favorite athlete to watch of all time, Ken?
Allen Iverson. I just used to love watching him. I used to scream to people like, pound for pound, this guy is the best player in the NBA. I mean, especially when he was competing and winning scoring titles, the way he just let his body get beat up in there, and just fighting against 7-footers all the time, and he's 6 foot barely, and I just love watching him play. He played with so much fire and energy, and just a fun guy to watch.
Love it. Ken, that's a great one. I'm surprised it took even this long to get an Allen Iverson out there. That was so special. And when you see the size of him, if you're lucky enough to be, up close with him or whatever, it is amazing what he did. All right, we're up against a break. I feel so bad. Our man Karate Mark, his car broke
this
down.
is a bummer.
And he needs us to keep him company. I'm up against it now. So, Mark, if you can wait a few minutes, I'll get to you as soon as we get back from the break. I also have another question I want to pose out there to you. We'll keep a couple of them on the board at the same time. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. As we get close to noon, Amy Fadul's with us today, which we absolutely love. We say goodbye to Sean Kane, her son. He had to go. I guess he's got to get, loose, warmed up. Yeah. Big game tonight.
Big game tonight.
Yeah. Now, will he throw in the backyard or anything to get ready? Because he's pitching tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he'll throw in the backyard. They go over early. They go early to have a little warm up.
Okay.
Which shouldn't take too long. It's as hot as it is out there tonight. So.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I got a text from my friend today because I'm golfing today with one of my sons and one of my best friends since we were 5 years old and his son. So we're golfing today. He sends me, he goes, he called me a name that I can't repeat. He goes, way to pick a day where it's going to be 118 degrees. And I'm like, stop. We're not golfing till 3. It'll be fine. Yeah. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about going out and if I'm doing something fun, I don't care about the weather. Like that doesn't bother. We have another great one here. We're talking about your favorite athletes to watch of all time. And we're remembering Willie Mays and many people saying that the greatest living baseball player we just lost yesterday at the age of 93. And the stories, you can't. I saw something on Twitter of Vin Scully, an old Vin Scully, like late, might have been at the end of his career, and Willie Mays. It seemed like they were meeting for the first time.
I feel like I've seen that. There's a picture or there's a story about it?
They're like up in the press box, I think it is. And Vin Scully introduces himself.
Yeah.
And Willie Mays is like, I know who you are. But
maybe they just never had the occasion to?
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. And Vin Scully says, I got to tell you, even though you were wearing the wrong uniform, you were my favorite player of all time. And we've heard so many great stories about Willie Mays. And I just thought it neat to ask, who's your favorite athlete of all time? Now, one of our favorite callers and friends of all time is Karate Mark. And unfortunately, he is broken down on the side of the road. Mark, what's going on with you, buddy?
That's it. Completely dead. I've been playing Dodge Charger roulette, and I just died literally on an exit of 95. I just got off Academy. I'm on the ramp, and there's a big old truck beeping at me. He don't look happy.
Are you safe?
I'm safe. I'm off the highway. I'm about a half a mile from home, but damn. Okay. You ever see Ace Ventura Part 2?
Yes.
Remember when he's roasting in that rhinoceros? Yes. Yeah, that's me right now.
Oh, no. So it's not a great day to break down on the side of the road and just be out there on that hot pavement.
Oh God, no! This ain't.
You have someone coming to get you? Are they going to come? Is it a battery? What are you doing?
I mean, I'll leave work and come and get you, Mark, if I have to.
We'll find you.
Hey,
send up
you
a
guys
flare.
are very kind. I got friends and family within a couple blocks from here. I'm gonna get off the phone in a minute, but yeah, man, Bob, I know you like to sweat. I'm the same guy as you. This ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
Anyway, you guys are talking favorite athletes to watch. I got two of them for you. If I could toss out two of them.
Absolutely.
One, Devin Hester. Devin Hester
returning kickoffs and punts.
Must watch.
Can you push it?
All right, these guys are going to come help me push.
Oh, all right. All right,
Mark, give us a call back.
Yeah, let's do it. Devin Hester.
Devin Hester, done.
All right. Peace, y'all.
All right, see you, Mark. Sorry, a little wonky there.
Live action. I could hear something. You want to help me push it?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
That's pretty cool. That's that's not a way I like to. I do like to sweat, but I said I like having fun sweating.
Yeah, not sitting on the side of the road.
I do not want to sit in a car and sweat because my car's dead. No, that is not a lot of fun. So, Mark, hope you get everything squared away there and that you can get back to us. We have another great one on our YouTube page, Pete Maravich.
Oh, Pistol Pete.
That is a phenomenal one. I don't like when I was growing up as a kid, I don't know if it was one of my coaches or one of my friends, somebody had a tape of Pistol Pete doing some like lessons with his dad, who I believe his dad's name was Press. And he was coach, and he had Pistol Pete Maravich do all these different kind of things to make him a better basketball player.
I feel like I've seen clips of whatever this is.
He does this one thing where he spreads his legs apart about shoulder length, and he has a ball, a basketball, and he bounces it through his legs and catches it behind his back, and then he throws it from behind his back with two hands through his legs again. And, he does it slow the first few times. He builds it up to a speed where you can barely see the basketball. And it's just like, what the hell? Talk about a player that was before his time.
Oh. Can you imagine if he had the three-point line?
Oh.
Can you imagine?
No,
Talk about an untouchable record.
Yeah, that is an untouchable record.
If he had the three-point line.
It was just broken by Caitlin Clark. But He did it in 3 years.
With no 3-point line.
With no 3-point
So
line.
it's not the same.
No, it is not the same. But we are having a lot of fun with this today. We're talking about your favorite athletes to watch of all time. And look, when we talk about it, it doesn't have to be anybody. It doesn't have to be someone that was great at what they did. It doesn't have to be a Hall of Famer. It might just be something that you liked about that player that made them your favorite player to watch. Sure, a lot of times athleticism comes into play, but I said this earlier without thinking about it. It is hard to see athleticism in baseball players sometimes.
I feel like you have to, like an outfielder, you can see it.
Yeah, or shortstop.
Yeah, it makes like a really athletic play.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the thing. It's like, oh, that's an athletic play. You don't ever look at the guy and be like, that's a big athlete.
Yeah.
A tremendous athlete.
Well, that's why I loved why your son Sean, his answer was Ken Griffey Jr. because that's the sweetest swing you'll ever see.
We were talking about that, and I think Ray, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but I know you mentioned it earlier, just the great bat flips that are out there. And I think we've talked about it because we saw the bat flip when Ryan Howard was playing in the East-West game recently.
Bat drop.
To me, it's so subtle, but it's so cool. Like, I know Ryan Howard is a lot of people's favorite athlete to watch.
Right.
I just remember his Get Me to the Plate boys, and that's what his vibe was all the time because he was must-see TV anytime, certainly in his MVP year. But what a great, Ken Griffey, also a very subtle bat drop / extra swing type of vibe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like the elongated let go, right?
It's like a little kick.
Yeah, right.
Like a little kick. And Ryan Howard had the same little kind of kick. There you go. That's gone. Ryan Howard would kick, drop, go.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You remember that little hitch?
I'll tell you what. There's probably a lot of young generational kids, like Sean's age.
That, big, high.
Who might say Kyle Schwarber.
Great bat drop by him the other night, by the way.
Yeah. I think it's getting up there.
Yeah, no,
I never really thought that.
It was a really good. The ones that he's hitting 400 plus feet, when he gets kind of all that mass moving through the baseball, the way he spins, it kind of drops it. It's a pretty elite bat drop. I mean, aside from just the ball going 400 feet,
exactly.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to interrupt you at all, Ray. I thought Ben Davis brought up a great point last night on his home run. Did you see how level his bat was? I felt like grabbing Johan Rojas by the ears and just saying, "Come here, son. Need you to look at this." I mean, the most level swing I've seen in a long time, maybe because it was the way they broke it down or whatever. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch that home run.
He's usually a go down and get it type of guy.
Right, and you think of home runs and uppercuts and all of that stuff. I mean, the levelest of swing. And Ben did a great job last night on the air of pointing that out. It was just a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, so, all right, when we get back, we have some people on the line. Hold yourselves there. Also, we have some more texts that we want to get to about this. But I'm going to pose another question to you also. That we're not getting rid of this first question, just something else for you to think about. And it has to do with something that's near and dear to my heart and to Amy's heart. And that is the label of media. I'll tell you what I'm going to ask you when we get back. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. time here at Middays 97.5 The Fanatic. So glad you're with us on this Wednesday. A beautiful Wednesday in my eyes because I do like the warm weather. I did get a tweet from somebody yesterday saying, what are you talking about, a string of nice days? It's going to be like 100 degrees. All right,
It's
sorry.
not gonna rain.
To me, that's
Well, of course-
it's not going to rain. We need the rain.
Yeah, a little
Hopefully
bit. I think-
Friday night we're supposed to
I
get
did
it.
see some coming up.
Yeah, I hope so because our lawns need it. I do a lot of watering, it seems like. Every day I water our flowers in the backyard.
In the morning.
I try. Well, now with my new hours, it's tough because there's people in my house. It doesn't work out time-wise, so I do it as soon as I get home. And then maybe I'll do it again at nighttime a little bit. But they're fine. The flowers are fine. The grass is fine so far. I don't have a sprinkler system, but I'm trying to keep up on it. 12 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirst.hvac.com. All right, Amy, you're still in it.
I'm in it.
I guess I'm still in it. I was in a different version of it before in my other profession, and that is the media. And, you know, people perceive, I think, media in different ways. There's a lot of, I hate the word hate.
Negativity.
I'll say angst, negativity towards media, where, you know, it gets a lot of the fire. Oh, this isn't, well, it's all because of the media, whatever. All right, my idea of when I was in the media covering, whether it was Sixers, college basketball, the Phillies, Flyers, whatever it was, my idea was always to inform the people that were fans that were reading my stories, giving them answers to questions that maybe they could not get answered because they weren't in the position that we were where we had the ability to ask those questions. So to inform, to be one with the people of, hey, if I could get Joe off of the street who wanted to come ask, this coach a question, what would that question be? Let me get the answer for them. That's how I've always deemed media. Now I'm talking about media the way I had it. I'm not talking social media. I'm not talking podcast opinions. I'm talking about traditional media. And I think we're in agreement upon that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the role of media has changed an awful lot, although in the media's mind it might not have changed. Now, what comes of this and why I'm bringing this up? So, and this is not a knock on John at all. John Kincade brought up, now it's been, almost 3 weeks now, when the Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni thing, where Jalen Hurts really didn't answer a question about Nick Sirianni in a way that was gratifying to a lot of people. Right. It was a subject of conversation. John came out and said, yeah, I hated the question that was posed to him. He said it again when I was driving in the other day. And yes, I am very, I will defend media all the time. I will. Look, there's sometimes it doesn't, I don't want to defend it. And I won't if I see something wrong. But I think I know the role of media. John said, it was a stupid question. You're asking him to get in the mind of somebody else. I would love to say this to John, but, out of respect, I didn't because they have their show, I have mine. It gave you a talking point for 3 weeks. Is that not the role of media? To either make you think about the subject that you're talking about, that you love, that you're a fan of, or whatever. You can say it's a stupid question, but you two have been talking about it for 3 weeks now. Is that... Well, how would you define the role of media? And I'll put it out to everybody, 610-632-0975. What do you think is the role of media? I've described what I thought my part of it was. Amy agrees with that. But what do you think now it is, Amy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's taken on a lot of different roles, but traditional media, people in there asking questions, whether they're there for a blog or a website or a paper or a television show or radio or whatever it is, it's to inform and to find out whatever it is, whatever the subject matter is, find out. And sometimes illuminate certain stories, I think, too.
And we are talking sports media, everybody, okay? Yeah. Before anybody starts, we are talking sports media and role in sports for you. What do you think it is?
Yeah, I think it's there to inform.
Yeah, to inform, to ask the questions. I always thought that when I was going to prepare to write a story or a column, to try to let people know what might be going on, or maybe to make people think of, hey, take a look at this. Could this mean because of that? Could this be going on because of that? That's what I always thought my perception of media was. Ray, do you have you're younger than us. You're freshly out of school, learning media maybe in a different way than Amy and I did. What is yours?
Well, I think this all goes down different. I think media becomes a catch-all phrase for a lot of different things. Like, I would say what we do is different, very much so, than what's done. What was done at that press conference is different than what we do here for 4 hours a day. Like, that to me,
absolutely.
That's a big distinction, because when people do the whole media thing, they lump just everything that they consume together. Some people do media and they talk about social media, and that's just not the same thing. So I think media is a catch-all phrase that gets used. I don't really like necessarily even using that word, but I think by and large, what you're describing, what you did, what Amy still does, that is an information, and that's accessing information, that's telling the story, that's also explaining the story. And I think that goes with informing, but I think the explanation also comes from trying to get the explanation from the people that you cover, and then trying to get the explanation beyond some of those traditional press conference settings.
Yeah.
What we do here, very different.
Yeah,
we do.
No
This is entertainment. That's informative.
No question.
But people will lump both that and us, and that's where I think the line starts to get a little blurred. And then, podcasts, your favorite content creator, the whole thing of media is a massive, massive thing that focusing just on that press conference, very different than what a lot of people believe media is in general.
Right. And I think Amy and I tried to put it as perfectly and succinctly as we could, that we were there to inform, to, be an arm of the fans that was allowed to ask the question and get the answers that maybe the fans was most in the forefront of fans' minds.
The answers that they would to questions that they have. And
then you have the fun stories, like the story you did on Ben and Tag Davis. That was phenomenal. Watch that the other day. Thanks. Terrific. Yeah, it's weird, but I thought of that when I was driving in, and Andrew and John had brought up again the Jalen Hurts, and John always starts it off with, I thought it was a dumb question. Okay, I understand. Okay, you can think that, but part of the media's like Martin Frank asked the question. I think he's sitting back saying, "Okay, really? Dumb question? You've talked about it for 3 weeks.
Not a dumb question if it really generated that."
Yeah. So, what do you think the role of the media should be, and maybe what annoys you about, or what do you still love about the media and what they do for you? Also, favorite athlete to watch of all time. We're getting a lot of great answers today. I saw another great one that I'll give to you after we take a couple of phone calls. Terrell in Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Terrell?
How's everybody doing today?
Hi, Terrell.
So, you were talking about the favorite athletes we like to watch.
Right.
I had two in mind, and this made me appreciate defense more. One, Darrell Reeves' 2009 season, where he held 10 top receivers to 35 yards. Like, that was crazy. Like, under 35 yards, even Megatron was in one of them. I think that was one of the best seasons I enjoyed for a cornerback. I even hear
Revis?
Slay. I hear Slay talking about one of that season. Like, you hear a lot of people talk about the way he defended people. And then Ed Reed, like, he was like Ray Lewis talks about how the way he watches films, and he just zooms in on quarterbacks' eyes on the films, and just, like, he's weird, like he's real weird when it comes to watching film.
All right,
Ed Reed's a good one.
Ed Reed, yes. Those are my two favorite non-Eagles, obviously.
Okay, Terrell, those are great answers also. I was trying to look up the one that, the funny one was Dick Weber, the bowler.
Oh.
I am.
What does it say, like, you're not who I am, or whatever it is?
He didn't even make any sense.
It wasn't even making sense, but it was amazing.
It didn't make any sense, but it's one of the great...
Pete Weber?
Pete Weber, yeah.
What did I say? Dick Weber. Dick Weber's his father.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Dick Weber was his father.
Is his father a famous bowler, too?
Yeah, why are you making fun of me?
I've never heard of that person in my life. I never even heard of Pete Weber until that video.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, his father was a very, very famous bowler who was...
I'm not locked in.
He was. He would go up against... So on Saturday afternoons when I was a kid, they used to have professional bowling on TV. It was announced by Chris Schenkel. Do you remember that name, Chris Schenkel? something like that, whatever.
don't know-
But my
I don't know
mom
the
was a
Webbers.
huge bowler, and she would watch that. And Dick Weber, and he used to go against this left-hander all the time, and I can't remember. I can see him plain as day, but I can't remember him. But, yeah, the Pete Weber, who I am.
Yeah,
like
whatever
we
it
used to
is.
do that on the morning show
That's a good one.
all the time. Yeah, Bruce in Easton, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Bruce?
Hey, guys. Great show.
Thanks,
and,
buddy.
Great topic. Yeah, so I wanted to chime in. I played most of my life up through outside linebacker at Marshall U. And, you know, when you played, you didn't watch a whole lot because it was like watching work. But I get home, my career's done, and I see Randall. And I heard about Randall. I was in Arizona my first two, and then Marshall my last 2 years. And I heard about this cat from UNLV. And so I said, you know what? I was just dating. My wife and I were just dating, so we would go out and we would watch the game at a restaurant or what have you. And the game that I caught, and I don't remember if it was Dallas or who we were against, but he dipped his shoulder, he ran back, he launched it 90 yards, and I was like, wow.
Buffalo
who
Bills?
is this guy? Was that against the Bills?
Because he almost got sacked, if you remember.
Yeah.
Shoot, who was the great linebacker? I forget, but he from the blind side, it looked like he was going to get sacked, and he ducked under him, and the guy missed him, and then he rolled out, and I think he hit Arkansas Freddie Barnett with that long pass.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's who. Oh, my gosh. So I see that play, and I look at my now wife. We were dating back then, and I said, hon, wow. I tell you what, when you play, you try not to be enamored by the other athletes that you're playing with. And I played with some really good cats. But I'm from Easton, so I'm like, look, I'm your starting outside linebacker, so I'm not going to give you any props.
Right.
I'm going to hit you. But the thing is I watched this guy, and I'm like, wow. And then every time he had the ball, your heart would start to beat. Every time.
Yeah.
You're like, on offense, you're like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Then he got the cover of Sports Illustrated, and it was like
the ultimate weapon, right?
Yeah, and I was like, and to this day, I know many people will maybe disagree, but I think Randall was really at the forefront of what that quarterback position can, if you have that skill set and the ability, and if you team that up with coaching, offensive coaching, you've got a weapon that you can't. I don't know what to do with that.
Dan, thanks so much also for that. He was also the guy, Randall Cunningham, that on third down against the Giants, because their offense was so inept, went back and you thought it was going to be a pass play, but no, he punted, and it went for.
Talk about an amazing athlete.
I think it was like an 89-yard punt or something like
really
that.
Far.
Yeah, it was a real windy day. It was up in the Meadowlands, but Randall was he was an extraordinary athlete, and he and Mike Vick had something in common, where it looked like they were putting absolutely no effort into a throwing motion.
And just almost like a flick.
Oh, my God. And could they throw the ball? Like, I can still close my eyes. Vic, that Monday night game against Washington, I was lucky enough, I've told this story before, where I was at the game where Randall Cunningham had his first start as Philadelphia Eagles quarterback after a year or so of coming in on third down for Ron Jaworski. God, it was such a horrible time. Like, the Eagles are so bad that they would get the 3rd and 9 almost every, and then they'd bring in Cunningham on third down, and he'd go back like he was going to pass, and he'd take off and run. He'd get the first down. Jaworski would come in and be 3rd and 9 again. It was just like a series of, and at the time you felt bad for Jaworski because it was like, it was really like time to go.
Yeah,
not
a lot of people also on that team.
It was a shame. So, all right, let me get to Dan in Newtown, and then we'll get to our texts on favorite athletes to watch. Dan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Gotcha.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make some points here regarding JT Realmuto and versus like Stubbs. First of all, Stubbs, he was in a clubhouse and with lots of papers around trying to study all the pitchers that opponent the pitchers and just realize that Realmuto has a very strong connection with his pitchers, and I think now that is missing, and I think that you could take in for account for the kind of recent pitching troubles that has gone on. So you can really see the difference. What do you guys think?
It's a great point, Dan, and thanks for the call. Absolutely. Look, you get used to things in sports, much like everyday life, whatever it is. You get used to things. You have a comfort level, especially when you're doing something well. And that certainly doesn't change between a pitcher and a catcher.
No.
Could Garrett Stubbs get there or Rafael Marchand? Could they get there? Sure, but it takes time. Real Muto's already put in that time to reach that comfort level. Do you think there's been some fall off? Do you think it's because of that?
I think you saw it. I think it was most evident in the Wheeler game where he struggled. I think he was struggling, period. And maybe a catcher that was more in tune with him could have gotten him a little bit. I mean, 4 home runs for Zach Wheeler is just incredible.
Yeah.
He's never done it before in his life.
No.
You wonder, Stubbs is so much of a smaller target, how much that affects it as far as him back there. Real Muto, big guy.
I got to tell you, not to interrupt you, Aim, just to build on what you're saying, I think Stubbs gets smaller every time I see him. I swear, last night he's on the on-deck circle. Yeah, and I'm like, all right, somebody hit the pump and blow that guy up a little bit because he looks like he's deflating right before. Why are you making faces at me, Ray?
I'm just smiling.
Okay.
I found what you said entertaining.
I thought you were.
Bob.
I thought you were giving me. He gave me a standing ovation a couple of minutes ago.
He
did.
Yeah, but Aim, that comfort level is serious.
And I think those coupling, and I think Stubbs has made up for any of the lack of familiarity. Size is not. There's nothing he can do to change it. He can't make himself appear bigger. I feel like that's just something he's just going to have to work with, and they have to work with it and whatever. But the comfort level really needs to kind of get there, and that's something they can continue to work on. They have a couple more weeks. You're looking at, 4.5 weeks to go. So, all right. I think that it's a guy that, could get you through until you... Yeah, I think that the decision will have to be made eventually, but he's Chief Vibes Officer, okay?
Yeah.
Chief Vibes Officer.
I think it was Tyrone's show I was listening to yesterday, and they were going back and forth just a little bit when they weren't busting the stones of the morning show. That's also what I wanted to tell you. You and I, we're liked.
Oh, we don't get talked about?
Yeah, Tyrone goes, I hate everybody at the station except for the midday show.
Hey.
So we're
that's
cool.
Something.
Yeah, so we're good to go. But they were talking about yesterday just a little bit of the Stubbs Marchand stuff. And, look, Marchand's a better catcher, they were saying. And I thought they hit it well. They said, but you don't do it this year.
You can't do it this year.
You can do it next year if you so choose during the offseason. Ray, do we have a Phillies lineup for today as they go against the San Diego Padres looking for a sweep?
Yeah, lineup today. Kyle Schwarber, the designated hitter, bats first. Bryson Stott batting second at second base. Bryce Harper at first, batting third. In the cleanup spot, Alec Boehm at third base. Nick Castellanos in right field, batting fifth. Brandon Marsh in center, batting sixth. Edmundo Sosa getting the start at short, batting seventh. David Dahl in left field, batting eighth, and Rafael Marchand doing the catching, batting ninth.
So, Rob
Turner.
Thompson doing something a little bit different.
No Trey Turner.
No Trey Turner. Yeah, giving him the day off. That's cool. I don't mind easing him back in. He did run last night. I was in the car, actually, when it happened, and they said he really went like 100% on the run. I don't know if he was beating something out or if he went from first to second, whatever it was. But Schwarber, Stott, Harper. You got 3 lefties to lead off the game.
Which is unusual for...
Very unusual.
You know what that means? That means Brandon Marsh plays every day from here on out. No more wonkiness.
That's right. No, I think also what it means, if you read deeper into it, if you were going to put a right-hander at that second spot, it probably would have been Castellanos, right?
Yes.
But... He's 6 for his last 9, being down in the order.
Keep him right there.
Yeah, keep him down there. Keep that comfort level there. Good move, I think, by Rob Thompson today, going with, I wouldn't have put so what.
If you really want to read into it, this Waldron guy's bad against, he's a right-hander that lefties hit really well. So I think they just want to chase him early.
Okay. Yeah, he's had 7, as I said on the front page earlier this morning, 7 straight outings of not giving up more than 2 earned runs. So... they're facing a legitimate pitcher. Last night, a strikeout pitcher, which we talked about yesterday morning. It was all that. They were just patient. They got to the bullpen. And they said, Suarez, you're coming in? Maybe 19 times this year and save opportunities. You've been fine, but not this time.
I love that Bryce Harper was asked specifically about Suarez. Like, hey, Hey, how were you excited to see him again?
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
When's the last time you saw that guy?
Yeah, so that was all pretty cool. So that's your Phillies lineup for today. When we get back, we do have some more texts about your favorite athlete to watch. Also, YouTubers, I'll go there and get a few more of them. A whole lot more coming up. I swear we're going to look at some people that the Sixers may draft and get Amy's idea on what they may do. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, Middays. Bob Cooney here, Ray Dunn producing, and the great Amy Fadul in with us. I want to see somebody on our YouTube page put you down at some point. I feel like you're not a true part of the family until somebody disagrees with you vehemently or because
I'm sure they've disagreed with me.
Haven't seen anything yet. No, it's all roses and rainbows and puppy dogs and stuff. Amy Fadul, she's the greatest.
I don't think it's regarding.
Find something. First person to do it wins a pair of FanFest tickets. Are you? No, I'm kidding, everybody. I'm kidding.
Call in with all kinds of stuff.
I am kidding. It's a joke.
I'm just saying. I love you too, Bob.
There's a lot of love for you. I don't think there's nothing on there for me.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
No.
It's like one or two, maybe.
I exist to give the hate to Bob. That's my role here because the YouTube chats, we love Bob. Somebody in there, literally in the last hour, the memory on Cooney's incredible.
The memory?
That's something that was posted in the YouTube chat.
Well, you were talking about Dick Weber, and I'm like, who's that? And then you remembered the announcer from some professional
PBA.
bowling?
Yeah.
Chris Schenkel. That's an all-time. If you were to look up Chris Schenkel and heard his voice, you'd go, oh, yeah, he did do something when you were a little kid. But, God, it's really bothering me, the name of the bowler. Maybe you could Google it, right?
The left-handed?
Left-handed bowler. His name was Earl. I don't know if his first name was Earl or his last name was Earl. But, yeah, it was
Earl Anthony.
Earl Anthony. There it is.
Did you just Google that?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. Come on. Amy, I'm not lying. I'm not going to lie to our audience.
I love it.
Google's my friend.
Google's everyone's friend.
A producer that used to be with us. That sounds horrible. He's still alive.
Yes, thank you.
He's a Binger instead of YouTube. He likes Bing. Instead of Google, he likes Bing.
Is there? I thought all search engines were pretty much created equal.
Yeah, they are.
I think there's some that I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know. There's the one that says it doesn't take your data. I've heard promotions for that one before.
Oh yeah, like a duck something or other.
Yeah, that one.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I think they're all pretty similar.
Super memorable.
Yeah. The YouTubers. Oh, if anybody says anything bad about Amy, they're lying.
That's not. No, that doesn't look right.
I'm not looking for anybody to say anything bad about Amy. There's nothing.
Were you trying to give
say
him
bad
tickets? You were.
No, I got to give tickets for another reason. What should I give him tickets for? I'll tell you what. We had Amy's son in here earlier today. Okay? He was in. Great young man. I am so glad I can call him a friend. Fifth caller to 215-263-0975 that correctly knows his first name wins a pair of FanFest tickets.
All
right?
Excited.
Amy's son was in here earlier today. We said his name numerous times. Might be the same name as her husband. If you are the fifth caller, 215-263-0975, to give his name, you win a pair of FanFest tickets. Also, we do want to send out our best to Michael Barkan, as he is a little under the weather today, the reason he couldn't join us today. So we will we'll hear from him in the future, as he's got a huge golf outing tomorrow, of which Amy and I are participating. So we're going to have a lot of fun for a great charity tomorrow with that. All right, we've been talking about favorite athletes to watch. It doesn't have to be the greatest athlete. It doesn't have to be your favorite player of all, but your favorite to watch. And, Ray, we still have some more texts about it?
So many texts.
Oh, okay,
a lot of people talking about their favorite athlete. We got a number of people. So we got Steven from Virginia, John from Jersey, one more unnamed texter going with Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Tiger took this long. We had somebody on the YouTube, and Amy and I were talking about it during a break. Domination is still something that I love to watch.
I mean, he would lap the field.
Yeah.
Remember the British Open? No one had ever no one ever had scored what he scored, but no one ever won by more than, 8 strokes. I think he won by 10.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
It was when he was on, it was just, I remember writing a story. I was trying to look for some kind of a, Duke making the tournament is that's what I was doing. I was covering a regional final, and Duke was in it. And I was saying them getting to a Final Four is almost as common as Tiger Woods being ranked number one in the world. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's not. Tiger's been number one for 284 straight weeks. Something crazy.
Yeah, he has crazy numbers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Streaks that'll never end.
Yeah.
Or never be broken, I should say.
What else we got, Ray?
We got a New York number checking in here. Ichiro was the most electric player to watch. Speed was unmatched.
Favorite player of Andrew Salciunas?
Yes.
Okay.
I was trying to do some checking to see if that was actually Andrew with a fake number.
Did you say Andrew's not feeling well either? So hopefully he's in bed recuperating too. He was telling me he was feeling well. There's a little something going around. But on the Ichiro, did you see the stuff on Ichiro pitching to high school? Was it high school kids?
Is it high school or was it just prospects? Maybe
was it prospects?
Maybe it was high school.
I mean, it was like serious players, like decent players. And he's 51 years old.
I mean,
and he's throwing like
play,
94 miles an hour. Like there was also video of him throwing from the outfield and like knocking bats over that somebody had stood up straight, like some crazy stuff. He's a phenomenal athlete. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Who else we got, Ray?
Jim in Florida saying Dan Marino. And he did grow up an Eagles fan. Wants to clear that up.
Yeah, Marino, a lot of people that are listening didn't see him play. Talk about somebody that could throw a ball effortlessly. He was the type of guy that, like, honest to God, I exaggerate, but if you gave him a football and said, here, hold it at your right ear and throw it 50 yards without extending your arm, anywhere else but forward, I think he could probably do it. That's how strong and accurate of an arm he had. What else?
Ricky from Philly going with LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, Shady's a good one. Shady was one that we mentioned.
We got a couple of unnamed texters here. I'm going to roll through a couple of answers for you. We got Tim Duncan, Ricky Henderson, and then Adrian Peterson.
AP.
AP's a good one. Tim Duncan's one that I thought it was spectacular in that he wasn't spectacular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
made it look easy.
He did, yeah. He was kind of so methodical in how good he was. But oh God, what was the draft that the Sixers could have had him? But who did they get? Keith Van Horn instead. Didn't they had a chance at number one? He could have been paired with Iverson.
But they didn't get the one. Yeah.
Yeah, so
the lottery didn't go there.
Whoever said my memory was so great before, I'm proving you wrong now, and I probably will for a lot longer. Ricky Williams is on here on our. I don't know if that's a joke or not. Jerome Bettis. So he was like a bowling ball.
That's what they called him. He was actually a very good bowler. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, he had that was one of his foundation things, but he wanted to be a professional bowler. He routinely bowls a 300. Yeah.
Routinely bowls a 300?
Routinely. Has bowled it numerous times.
I can say that about myself in Wii Fit. I can bowl a 300 in Wii Fit pretty easily. Yeah.
Apparently he's
Congratulations.
quite the bowler.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for you. We should do bowling with Bob.
Okay.
Now, that would be something fun.
Actually, there's an idea in the works on that, Ray, so we'll keep that under wraps until...
Oh.
Yeah, do you bowl a lot? I'm in a bowling league.
I do not bowl a lot, but I always like to bowl. It's always like a fun activity. When someone says, do you want to go bowling? It's always like, yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. I would like to go. It's also a really good activity right now because it's so hot out. It's just like, let's go bowling.
Yeah, we do. So friends that we had down where we used to live that we still have, I think there's maybe 14 couples or something like that. And we call it the, what do we call it? The swingers. That's what it is. It's the Swinger Bowling League. And it's because we switch up pairings like all the time, either teams or couples or whatever. So there's competitions every week, but you're always switching either partners or whatever. So
very interesting.
Yeah.
It's not going to get too deep into the personal life here, but hey, good for you guys.
It's fun. We have our bowling shirts.
I think that's part of it.
So Donna and I are signed up, obviously, as the couple, but our son Tommy loves to bowl, so he partners with me. Donna sits it out usually.
Does he have a shirt too?
Oh yeah, Tommy and I wear our matching shirts. Tommy got his own bowling ball during the winter, so he's got a tiger on it, or a lion, I should say. Really cool, yeah. So he loves bowling. He's pretty good at it too. I'm proud of him.
Fun.
Yeah. We have a good time. You get there, you have a couple pitchers of beer, and
a couple pitchers.
Yeah, I think that's also it adds to the bowling.
Yeah, it's
vibe.
just fun. Good, innocent fun. Bob's freaky. What does that mean? Why am I?
You're in
Bob.
a bowling league. You call the swingers.
Oh,
I mean, you set yourself
Yeah,
up for that
it's
type
kind
of
of on a
reaction.
tee.
I know what
really
it
right.
means, but I told you why we call it the swingers because
Well, yes, 'cause you're playing off of the words.
I
saying
understand the
swingers.
PR spin you're going to put on this.
Yeah, we understand.
We're not going to get into your personal
No,
life. I was
we
willing
know
to let
why.
it go.
There's nothing personal about it. It's just good old-fashioned fun.
I mean, if that's old-fashioned fun, cool, man. That's good for you.
Anything Rob Thompson's done this year that has made you scratch your head at all?
I mean, at times.
There's perfect can't be reached. But has he been pretty damn close to it?
I mean, I think he is the perfect manager for this team. I think that everything that he does has, I think sometimes you think the analytics, not playing Marsh every single day, has bothered me at times. No, I don't look at it. I look at his job and he's done an A+. A+ job.
Okay, good. Because the reason I brought this up, and we're going to get more into it a little bit, but the reason I brought it up was because last night somebody asked him about Nick Castellanos and how hot he's been the last couple of games. Is it directly related to Trey Turner getting back into the lineup and Castellanos getting moved down? And Rob Thompson's answer was so cool, and that he was just like, yeah, when he was hitting it to 2-hole, he had some good at-bats, and then he started reaching a little bit and got a little bit out of sync. I think him being back there is going to be pretty good. Like, it wasn't just the answer. It was, that's the patience he has with Nick Castellanos. It has been talked about. It has been debated right here on these airwaves. I said yesterday, and it was one of my topics, Aim, I don't know why, but I'm fine with it. And it was before it has nothing to do with the 4 hits he had last night. I said it yesterday. I know he's batting 209. He was before last night. I don't know why, but I am perfectly okay with his patience with Nick Castellanos. Are you that way, or do you find yourself at times going, maybe you should give him a couple days off?
No, we talked about it a little bit on Monday because that's when he had shown signs in the past of this season. You thought he was going to get there, and then we saw how poor that he played over the weekend, and it was like, oh, really? This guy, does he need to play every day? If that's been your MO, I'm fine with it being your MO. It's frustrating to watch when he's struggling, but I totally understand, and I'm not going to second-guess the manager on a decision like that. He knows his guy. He knows what his guy is going through. He knows baseball inside and out. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I really am. And like I said, I can understand people. And John says it in the morning, like, you give everybody else a day off, like you said, a Marsh, bless you, a Stott. Those guys get days off, maybe because they're slumping a little bit. Maybe it's the matchup, lefty-righty. Why aren't you doing it to Nick Castellanos? I hear what John says, and I understand him saying it. And it came to the question. I questioned myself a lot. I don't know. I don't know why I'm good with it, but I am. And I think it's going to stay. That's not going to change. And maybe that's one of the reasons.
Well, because then it's like, all right, well, let's say you did give him a day off. Let's look at the outfield on a Nick Castellanos day off. Is that worse than a Nick Castellanos day on? Probably.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm okay with it. Like, what would that even look like? So you'd have Marsh in center and Merrifield in left, and then move Pache?
Or Merrifield goes to right, and you Marsh and Pache.
Yeah, I think that's not an ideal outfield.
No.
For an off day.
I'm just strangely okay with it. I'm on board with you. You mentioned a day off, but mine's a different player. Mine's Bryson Stott. I want Marsh in there all the time, too. I don't get as bothered as much with him. I don't know why. But I guess I do. But Bryson Stott, I do want to see in there as everyday second base. I'm sorry. I want him out there 150 times. I do. And I looked at games played yesterday, and it had him only not playing 5. I think he was like 67 out of 72. But some of those he's coming in the 8th and 9th inning and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's one area that slight, and Ray knows I do that to him all the time, ever so slightly about, just a teeny bit about Rob Thompson, which I wish that would be there.
Sometimes the order of the guys they go to in the bullpen, I can think of maybe 3 games all season, and I'm like, why did you go to that guy there?
Like Soto last week.
Yeah. But I'm looking at like a handful of games.
Yeah.
So far.
I think he's been outstanding. I really do. All right, we have a lot more to talk about. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do it. We're going to look at some of the people the Sixers might be looking at number 16 for a week from today is the NBA draft. Amy's with us until 2 o'clock. We'll take you right to the best show ever with Tyrone, Ricky, and Silvana, who once again professed to me just minutes ago her hate of Ray Dunn. Yep, that's where we are. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Best show ever today. Correct. Tyrone Johnson. But Bill Colarulo sitting in for Ricky Batalico today, along with Silvana Kelleher, the aforementioned, who I don't know what it is, but there's something between she and Ray that is not good right now.
Oh,
I mean,
bad vibes.
it's not good. It's not fun to watch. It's like Ray came in today, and we were all kind of going back and forth about stuff, and somebody came walking in the door. Ray said, "There's a lot of tension here today." And it was gotten through, and it was all fun and games after that. But I don't have a knife big enough. I don't have a saw that I think can break the tension between Ray and Silvana.
Wait.
Dylan's with this bird. He's getting on my nerves.
Oh, was the bird in there?
Did he bird you?
He didn't bird me. But
No?
I don't know where that bird went. But he was trying to get me last night, and Josh walked in and was able to save me from being
Positive
birded
Josh?
one more time. Yes.
Was he laughing his ass off?
No, he wasn't. He's actually sick of the bird, too.
He's sick of the bird?
Yeah.
Can you get sick of the bird?
Yeah, you can get sick of the bird.
Can you?
The bird's
I
a
think you
disaster.
can.
For those that don't know, we've got this bird that is a fake bird that Dylan keeps putting everywhere.
It's a black, like,
Did he
crow.
get, so it sounds like he got you.
Not today, he hasn't, because I haven't seen it yet today.
Did he get you yesterday?
Yesterday, he got me. And I'm getting really sick of it.
So yesterday, I went to walk out of the studio during one of our breaks, and the bird was sitting right there.
Scared me one time.
Okay.
It got me.
I don't know why it didn't get me. Like, I saw it there, and Dylan was standing a couple feet away with his phone. I swear to God, I'm going to take his phone and throw it against the wall one of these days.
You can't do that. That's his job.
But, yeah, he's got a little too whatever.
Now,
So-
Bob's just upset because there's questions about him winning the pool.
I
yeah.
don't care about that. Amy, well, I tell everybody, you weren't here yesterday. I said, I'm just taking Amy's line. And when I told you, like, I won the pool, and you said, well, tell everybody to pick better then. So that's what I'm going to do. But, yeah, he had the bird outside the studio, and for some reason, it was laying there. He's ready to film. You know, he's got the cameras rolling. And I just saw it, and I go, hey, you forgot your bird, and I just kicked it up at him. But somebody got gotten real good. I forget who it was, but he had it somewhere, and he tried to get Joe Z, one of our salespeople, puts it right behind Joe's phone. Joe didn't even notice it. I'm like, can I get the bird back? He's like, what bird? What are you talking about? I'm like, this one that's been staring at you for the last half hour?
Oh, that's good
wow,
stuff.
I didn't even notice that. Yes.
And then as for Silvana, this hatred that she is just directing my way, this cold, just real rude energy that she's giving off, I don't know where it's coming from, but I want to remind her, someone's headphones are broken right now, and someone's borrowing someone else's headphones. You literally can't do your job without me right now. So, let's watch. Let's watch.
That's a reach. You can borrow mine. Still, you can have my headphones whenever you want. So
Okay, so you
can't
bailed on
hold
me.
that
Bob,
over.
I'm out on you. Amy,
Oh, wow.
you're all that's left.
You're all that's left.
From the last time.
Well, there's a common denominator in this. Is there not?
That's fine, man. I'll look in the mirror. I got a lot of problems. I'm not one to above that. But I'm going to cause them while I'm here.
You're not one above that?
Above that.
I don't know. See, he won't write himself down.
I'll go listen to it back, Bob. I will. I'll
go
take the
listen to
time
it back.
today. I got 25 to pick up from Monday about you, but no, I'll go take the time to listen to see if I didn't say above. Exactly correct.
You're a little bothered by this.
Yeah, you just
like
took Silvana's side, man. I thought we were
I'm
a
not
team
taking-
here.
I'm not taking sides. I want to break the tension between the two of you.
Well, she has to stop being so mean.
So you guys have been friends for how long?
I don't know, Temple. A couple years.
All right, couple of years. All right. I don't know what it is.
I don't
but
know. I don't know what I did.
There's something.
I'm an innocent bystander in all of this.
I don't know about that.
Innocent bystander.
Amy, what the?
You just said why. You just gave us a couple of different reasons, so that doesn't. I'm not siding.
It does seem like I've lost the two of you.
No, you have not.
No.
I think I'm now Bob.
You're not
I'm
on
on
an
the
island.
island.
Oh, you're next. You can't be on an island.
I'm on an island? all of a
You know
sudden?
you're on an island. You've said you're on an island for a long
you
time.
said that a couple times.
I don't know it. I can say that. I don't really feel like I'm on an island with the two of you. I really don't.
You're not.
I don't feel it. Why
This
are
is
you
our
grabbing
own.
your
This is
pen?
our own island. Speaking of, I feel like maybe island shirts might be what we need to wear for FanFest.
Oh. I'll have to show you my... Yeah, you know what? On Friday, maybe I'll wear in my bowling shirt because Ray likes to have some different kind of outfit on Fridays.
Yeah. Well, it's also like.
Oh man, I forgot. This is the Friday of all Fridays.
Yeah, you got it.
Silvana's back there.
Sil just came to the window and looked at me, and she points at me. For those of you not on YouTube, she gives me the you, and I look over, and she gives me the heart with the hands.
Grow up,
I
all
guess
of you.
I have taken a side
Oh,
now.
he has, apparently.
Oh, yeah, all of us South Jersey people got to stick together. Give me a break.
Anyway, Aim.
Your bowling shirt.
Jeez. Yeah, I think that'll be the choice of wear on Friday. Are you with us on Friday?
I'm not.
You are not with us on Friday. Okay. Maybe not then. Yeah, we do have to figure out what we're going to do for FanFest. Did we ever get the name? We got to get the name of the person who won the FanFest tickets earlier. We'll give that to you in a little bit. But don't forget FanFest in with FanDuel Saturday, September 28th. It's at Xfinity Live. All of us will be there. There's going to be celebrity guests, Philly sports legends, activities, games, prizes, so much more. I can't wait for Amy to see what this is like. It's the biggest party of the year for Philadelphia sports fan. Listen all week and this weekend to win tickets. All you have to do is go to 975thefanatic.com for all the details, including info for our online ticket raids, which will be starting up soon. As we said all the time, if you want to go, there's going to be a way to get you tickets. All right, we'll be back in a couple minutes. When we do come back, Matt Breen's going to join us from theinquirer.com, talk all things Philly sports, that and a lot more. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Clock here at Midday Shows. We take you up to the best show ever. We thank you for being with us. A lot of stuff, fun stuff on the table today with Amy Fadul that we're talking about your favorite athlete to watch of all time.
That's been good. There's been some really good ones.
Some great answers. Also, Sean Miller, congratulations as he's the winner.
Good name.
He or she. Sean could be a girl. Also, the winner of FanFest tickets. So we will have two more pair to give away. Another pair, I should say, to give away later on the show. But right now, we're going to talk to our friend on the Comcast business hotline from theinquirer.com, Matt Breen. Matt, what's going on today, buddy?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Hey, Matt.
How's things with you? Is all good in your sports world?
All's good. Can't complain.
All right.
Everything's great.
One of the things we're talking about, and I know how much of a historian you are when it comes to sports, man. No, I'm serious.
Yes.
I love your passion for the history of sports. And we've talked about it before, and I'm being serious here, Matt. I do love how you appreciate the history of sports. Well, we lost a legendary player yesterday in Willie Mays, and a question that we're putting out there that I wanted to give to you today. Who is your favorite athlete of all time to watch, Matt? Or maybe you have more than one.
Yeah, I go back to the guys that probably made me fall in love with sports. Eric Lindros is definitely for my generation. I think the Flyers probably never, at least in my mind, in my lifetime, were never as big as they were in the mid '90s, leading up to that Stanley Cup final. And just a Saturday on Fox with Eric Lindros and the Legion of Doom, that was just, for me, that's what kind of hooked me into not just hockey, but sports really as a whole. So I would Lindros, and then going into high school and college with Chase Utley and the Phillies, and those two guys, and Pat Burrell. Really, I mean, I it's random, but Pat Burrell for me was, the Phillies were so bad from kindergarten was '93, and you followed them all the whole time, and then they get this #1 pick, and it's Pat Burrell, and that was hope that this is going to be the guy that Phillies back, and so that was the guy that we rode, until '08. So it's guys like that. The reason it's not necessarily, obviously there's memories and moments, but just the feelings you had when you were watching people like that play, and what that meant to you as a whole to get you to become a sports fan.
Yeah, I think that's it. When we're talking to people, and you just said it, it evokes a certain feeling and a certain memory. And you mentioned '93 as being kind of the start of it. There's so many people, I think, that go back, and when they think about their favorite teams or favorite players, they're going to mention talk about a team that came out of nowhere. But obviously, they were terrible before, they were terrible after, but that was kind of one of those lightning in a bottle type of things. But is there somebody that you think, I had my son in here earlier, he's 9, and he went back old school, and there's guys I think that there are those players right now for young kids. If you have to look at some of the teams now, who would you say is going to be a player that kids might look back on and think, oh, that's who really led me to love sports?
Yeah, I think these kids are kind of spoiled now.
Yeah, they are.
You have Bryce Harper, you have Joel Embiid, you have Jalen Hurts, you have these 3 superstars at your sports, and we didn't have that in the early '90s, the mid '90s. So I'm jealous of your son. My son has a Kyle Schwarber jersey. It's I don't know if there was a Phillies player to buy a jersey of in 1995 after once '93 faded away. So I think kids now are that's the state of Philadelphia sports. I know obviously Philly hasn't won since the Super Bowl, and we talk about all the negative stuff, but as a whole, there's a lot for a kid to be excited about. So there's just star power that we definitely did not have 25 years ago.
I will tell you, in 1995, I did see a lot of Ricky Bottalico jerseys wandering around in the Philadelphia.
96 All-Star.
96 All-Star, that is correct. All right, we've had a lot of discussion about the Phillies over the last couple of days, Matt, and it's been concerning kind of, do you go all in now? Are they at a spot where they need to make a change? And what precipitated it was Johan Rojas gets sent down to the minors. Now it looks like you have a left field, center field rotation of Marsh, Pache, Whitfield, Dahl, however you go there. I'm kind of the ilk, once everybody's healthy, I'm okay with this team. Do you think they should go more all in, specifically in that outfield position?
Yeah, I do. I think, and it's hard. Like, you can't just make a move today, and because you want to make a move, obviously you need that second team to dance with you. And I don't think there's really a move to make until you get closer to the deadline. So you're going to have to survive with the combination of outfielders, like you mentioned, until then, and especially because of the added playoff spot that almost everybody's still alive. So no one's really selling today. So you have to wait till you get closer to the deadline. But I would make a move, and I don't want to use like the term all in, because then you're trading your best prospect. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. But I would make a move to get an outfielder, and I also would get a late inning arm. As good as the bullpen is, you look at how these games are won in October, and it's by having, you can't have enough hard-throwing guys come out of your bullpen. Look at what the Diamondbacks did last year, the Astros bullpen in the World Series the year before that. That's what you need to match. You need to have that kind of weapon that cuts off a game after the fifth or sixth inning, and then game over the rest of the way. And that's how I felt watching that World Series with the Astros. Like, once you got to their bullpen, it wasn't a good thing. That's when those games ended. And same thing with Diamondbacks last year. They had such a great bullpen in those games that they won, and that's how you win. So right now, I the bullpen's been good. You put the ERAs out there, and they're great. But I think they need one more shutdown guy. And I would take if it's not a closer, it's somebody that's super lockdown eighth inning guy. But I would definitely take a closer, and that's where you have to think about is, like, Mason Miller is going to cost a lot because he's under club control for a while. So that's probably not going to happen. But I think that's where you need to find power hitting corner outfielder and a shutdown arm for the late innings.
One thing we've been talking about is that very thing. Like, how much do you tweak? Because it is such a good thing. And then now when JT Realmuto comes back, what do you do with the backup catcher position? These are all good problems to have. Rob Thompson seems to be the perfect manager to make these kinds of decisions. How do you rate what he's been able to do so far with this team?
Yeah, I think he has obviously a really good feel for his players. Like, we can tell just from watching the games at home that he has a good pulse in that clubhouse, and he knows when to push buttons, when to be laid back the majority of the time, and then when to push a button like he did on Sunday in Baltimore. And also how to mix and match if it's the catcher position for the next month or so, to mix in Marchand and Stubbs and balance that out together, and then how to play left field now that Rojas got sent down. And I think that was the smart move. That he's a young player. He's not finished because he got sent down, but I think it was time to send him down for a reset. And they talked about his bunting, like that was going to be a weapon that he was going to bunt. He never bunted up here, so that was something that Rob said the other day, was that he could practice that in Lehigh Valley, and there's less pressure and learn how to do it better and make that a weapon if and when he comes back up. So I think that they were patient with Rojas. It's not like a black spot on him that he got sent down, and I thought the way they handled it was the right way to do it.
We're talking to Matt Breen, Inquirer.com, on our Comcast Business Hotline. And, Matt, we were talking about this the other day when the Phillies get totally healthy. So you're talking about Realmuto being back, obviously Turner back in the lineup, all of that. Go back to the beginning of the season and think that when you had your normal order out there, your 8-9 hitters were Marsh and Rojas, and that's a really good defense to have out there in the outfield. And you got out to a 42-19 start or whatever it was. Is that good enough, do you think, to win a World Series?
Sure, right? You just have to get in and win a World Series, and I think they are right now a World Series contending team, and this is when you fine-tune it, and this is when you make the moves. Like you could live with Rojas being what he was for so long because, like you said, the start you got out on. But now you had a chance with a roster crunch of Trey Turner coming back, David Dahl's up here, so you can think about what you're going to do here, and this was the perfect spot to send him down. It wasn't like a panic move where we were talking about, is it time to send him down 2 weeks into the season because he's struggling? That would have been, like I said, the black eye or the black mark on his career by, giving up on him then. But it almost was like a natural move that, he's just an odd man out, getting sent down where he was. And they're a World Series team, contending team. I would just feel a lot better about them in October because they're going, like we say, like every week, they're going to the playoffs. Like it's not even jinxing them. It's just a fact. So what I think they need for October, not that they need this for August or September, I think they need it for October, is that extra late in the arm and a power bat to put in that lineup, because you're talking about a lineup, like you said, with assuming JT's back, Turner's back, so now Marsh is back. Now you need another bat to slide in there for October.
One thing I've got to ask you about, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you since this was published, but a just tremendous article on Frank Wycheck that was out in the Inquirer I guess it was just a couple of days ago. I actually had to pause reading it because I got a little emotional. But just if for those of you out there, I know it's on your socials. I know it's out there. What was that like, just going down the timeline? Because I got to know Frank Wycheck. I worked in Nashville when he was doing radio, and to say he was a popular radio host is an understatement. People loved him. He was beloved in Nashville for his time with the Titans and what he did, but he was such a character. And I know from talking to people the decline there, and I thought you did such a great job of telling the story. But how hard was that story? Because honestly, like, it was a wonderful story to read, but it was hard to read because you could really see the struggles that he was going through.
Thanks a lot, Amy. I didn't know you knew him, so that's pretty neat. It was like a story I wanted to write because he's like one parish over from me in the Northeast growing up, and obviously he's a lot older than me, so he was like a neighborhood icon. The guy from the neighborhood that went to the Super Bowl. We were all Titans fans in 99. So when he died, I figured there was something more to the story when I saw his family was donating his brain for CTE research. And his daughter was, jumped on a phone call with me in January, and his Orion friends were great. And then being able to talk to not necessarily like anybody, but like the right people to talk to for his teammates, the guys that stayed in touch with him after his career and up until his death, and his offensive coordinator, that Super Bowl Titans team, who stayed in touch with him, through the years. And it's one, like when you're doing these stories, like it's any type of story, you're trying to find people to talk to, but most important, you're trying to find the right people to talk to. And I think that's what made this story come alive, is that we didn't just have, random quotes from people who knew him at some point. It was like we got lucky and got put in touch with the right people to tell Frank's story. And just obviously this whole if you're from the Northeast, like just if you're from Delco, it means a lot to you to be from that place. So like it means a lot to me and like people from here to be from here. So to write Frank's story and to hopefully tell it the right way meant a lot to me.
Tremendous.
We're talking to Matt Breen on the Comcast Business Hotline, Matt of theinquirer.com. And Matt, I want to close you out with this. One of the questions I put out there today, and Amy and I spoke about it, role of media. Now, you've seen it an awful lot. You've seen how media has changed over the years. And it's kind of, when it comes to sports media, I'm speaking, and many people, put blame on media, and it's become, the thing to do now. But for you, as a member of the sports media, what do you see is the role, and has it changed since you started?
It always changes. Just not the role, but like just the format and the way you give your stories and the way you write and tell stories. It's different avenues and stuff, but the role is to and everybody plays a different role because there's different jobs. But in general, it's to inform people and entertain people, and to be like a fan can't go into the clubhouse and ask the Phillies questions. So I always thought, like when I was covering the Phillies, that when I'm going in there, what does a fan want to know about? What does a fan want to read about tomorrow morning? What is the fan going to be at the water cooler at work talking to their friends about the next morning from this game? And I have to deliver that information. I don't have to, like, the fan knows how they want, but I want the fan, if there's a question they had when they were watching, I want to be able to ask that question and give that information back. And like I grew up a crazy Philadelphia sports fan. I never shied away from that. I never lied or admitted that I didn't. But when I got into the business more and more, like that faded away, and you're just there every day, and you're no longer, you can't be a fan if you're covering the team. It doesn't work. You just naturally lose that. But I can't erase the first 20 years of my life. So like I knew what it felt like to watch a game as a fan. I knew how great a walk-off home run felt. I know how brutal a blown save felt. So I always tried to remember that like I was once this kid that read the newspaper every day about the game from the night before, and that's my audience. Is those maniac fans that want to just know everything they to know about the Phillies from top to bottom. And I think that's the job, is to really entertain, inform those people, because that's your readers. And if you're not writing for them, I don't know, you're not writing for yourself. So like I don't know what you're doing at that point.
Matt, that's a great explanation.
Yes.
I just thought it was something to hit on because there's a lot of, talking all the media this, the media that, and sometimes it's good to go back and just educate and say, look, here's how I look at how I do my job. You are in total agreement with me and Amy, and I think there's a lot of really good reporters out there that view it the same way as you. Matt, we got to thank you for being with us again this
Thanks,
week.
Matt.
We will talk to you next week and hope everything goes well for you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Matt Breen from theinquirer.com joining us there. Yeah, I just think every once in a while to go back to relearn something. Not that I'm here to teach anybody anything, but to say, like, look, no, this is – you can find the bad, sleazy, however you want to label it, media if you want to go look for it. But there's also good media, people that do the jobs properly, I should say, in the media. And Matt just described exactly what you and I were talking about. Well, then, if you want to stay away from sleazy, then look for guys like Matt. Look for other people that cover the games and the sport the way you want it to be.
Yeah, not the clickbait.
No, not that at all. No, can't have that. So I just took a look at our YouTube page. What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
Are you on our YouTube page? Are you making comments?
I did make a comment.
Okay,
yeah,
Ray.
you got to relax. You all really got to stop. The narrative that you guys are starting to put down.
Whoa.
This is bad media. This is example of bad media. Poor media work here by Amy Fadul.
Okay, don't say you guys then. You can point the finger at her.
I was going more with the YouTube chat. I was going more
That's what
direct.
I'm going on. I'm like, why is Amy
you guys, as in the YouTube chat, needs to stop carrying on.
Oh, that.
I was
and
like,
Amy.
And Amy.
All I said was,
Leave me.
Yeah, no, bad, poor
Your whole
media by
the
you.
back and forth is kind of cute.
Poor media by you. Please stop.
I was.
That's my opinion.
I was a little shocked. I
said it's kind of cute.
Yeah, I think you're trying to present something that's
I think the whole back and
believe
forth
that we got to go with the Sixers, who they're going to get at 16, because we've teased this for 75 days
we are.
now.
We're going to get
to
that
it.
next segment, but we have a minute to kill right now, so I thought we'd talk about you for a little bit.
No, it's okay.
We
don't talk about me enough.
Okay, I don't know. I think, I think you should. I'm with Ray on this.
All right.
Yeah, Amy, you can't fan the flames here.
I did not fan any flames.
You did.
A little bit you did. What's that? What is it? Goodfellas. When they're in the bar and he goes, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't, And Robert De Niro looks and goes, a little bit you are. Yeah, a little bit you are. Yeah, you were a little bit. I don't think Sil's going to come in here and pound you at the bar and beat you up like De Niro and what's his name? Joe Pesci did. But you better watch your back if I was you.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Fanning from.
Wow.
I'm talking for Ray.
Remember we were like 2 hours ago when we were in Switzerland when we were the good guys around the station.
Nobody hates us, but we hate each other. Yeah, but you do have that coming up next. That was cool. Tyrone again went after the morning show yesterday. Morning show had a little rebuttal this morning. So there's you got some things going on. That we are just not a part of. Why? Because we're friends with everybody.
People like us.
Yeah. If there's reason
Generally.
for us not to be friends with it, certainly we will address it at the time. But no, for now, there is good reasoning that we are just happy people and here to do what we like to do. And what we are going to do is take a look at that 16th pick for your Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to throw some names out there. I understand you might not know the names. We'll describe the player and see if Amy likes that kind of fit for the 76ers or not. We'll do that when we get back. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. 1:30 here, middays. I don't know what's going on around here. We've seemed to lost all control.
It's running around, phones being knocked down, birds and trashes.
It's crazy. Like, can you please explain not only to me and Amy? So Amy and I are sitting in here talking to Tyrone. All of a sudden, the kids of the neighborhood, Ray, Sylvana, Dylan, they all start running down the hallway, screaming and hollering. What was going on?
Not just the kids. One, Mike Vito texts me, hey, when you have a second, could you come here and see me? Someone that I report directly to.
That's your boss.
Wow.
That I was concerned needed something with regards to the show, broke my trust, and I walked out to that bird while I was trying to record the last update. No, it was just right in front of me. I mean, it really.
Did it scare you?
I had this jump back of a second of like, what's in my face?
So they got you good.
I'm most upset with Vito. I'll be honest with you. Dylan, I expect the shenanigans from him. Okay, this is normal for him.
It was definitely shenanigans.
Did you tell them to stop carrying on?
They should. They should stop carrying on. We're trying to run a professional radio station here, and everywhere we go, there's a stupid bird waiting for me. I can't walk around anywhere here without a bird just waiting to be in front of me while I'm trying to get work done.
Hey, when that happens, I got to tell you, I'm starting to get a little worried here. Now you have beef with Vito. So
I don't have beef with Vito.
You just said I made your beef with Vito.
Yeah, you know what? I do have beef with Vito. You're right.
So now
I'm sorry. I'm seeing red.
Dylan, Sylvana, Vito. What is there one common denominator here, or are they? Because if you need backing by me and Amy, we're there for you.
I don't want to turn this into a war.
We are a show together, so we are with you.
I'm being attacked. That's what this is.
If you're against them, we're against them.
Yes. We're here for you,
I wouldn't want to turn you guys against them. Because I think there's still goodness in those people.
Oh, that's good.
But they're driving me nuts.
We just have to search far and wide to find that goodness. So, all right.
I can't do it. I can't do that bird anymore. It needs to go.
Did you break its neck? Dylan was just holding it. I think.
Yeah.
I threw it in the trash, and then I dumped the trash can
over. The neck
over.
was totally turned around from the front. Now, this is a fake bird, everybody, so don't worry. We're not breaking it.
Yeah.
They got Ray pretty good during that.
I'm very upset.
All right, I am going to describe a player for you, Amy and Ray. I will give you size, description. You tell me if you like the fit. I'll tell you who it is. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right, here we go. Stock appears to be on the rise as the draft approaches, with teams viewing him as a versatile guard who can provide immediate knockdown shooting and reliable playmaking. Connected as high, very high here. Perhaps lottery teams trade down to get him, but should be available around where the Sixers are picking at 16. He is 6'2", point guard. His name is Tyler Kolek from Marquette. Fit, not interested, pass, yes, like it.
Not at 16.
Not at 16. Ray, what say you?
Just too small of a backcourt.
Okay. On this mock draft that I am currently looking, he is projected to go at number 15.
Okay.
Yeah, so his stock appears to be moving up a little bit.
Good stats at Marquette. He was a very good ball handler.
He
a good point
really
guard.
interests me for some reason.
If you watched Marquette last year at all, I thought he really stood out as far as decision making, great passing. Just a very good, court general, which is what you want point guard to be. The size is a little bit of a concern. He's a little bit more slight than I would like, especially when you've got Tyrese Maxey, who is not slight, but is not the tallest guy.
Right.
I would prefer a taller point guard to go with Maxey. That's just me.
All right, here we go. Here's another one. This guy is described as one of the safer bets to find success in the NBA because of his two-way abilities. They could use his size, versatility, no matter what they end up doing in free agency. 6'8", swingman, Tristan da Silva from Colorado.
He's a popular one. You see a lot because of his size, and you mentioned the versatility. I liked watching him at Colorado. He had some great games. I think he has a translatable game and physicality. to the NBA level. He also had some games where you questioned if he was interested in playing basketball, which, I don't know how much that concerns me. He's at Colorado. It's not the highest level of basketball out there. I like that. I would, I could see that. I could see that.
Ray?
Interested, for sure. I'm going to be honest with you. The number of Colorado games I caught this year were minimal. So just looking at what has been said about him and just the way he would fit, I would have interest in him at 16.
Yeah, there's a lot of these guys whose regular season games I did see, a lot that I didn't see. The guys that I wasn't familiar with, I went and watched highlights of them just to see what kind of play. I watched a lot of De Silva stuff at first. Like, he was one of the beginning guys that I looked at. All right, let me give you another one. Size adds different interior ingredient to an offense with interior scoring. Offensive rebounding, screening are pluses. Look maybe to turn into a reliable three-point shooter. 7 feet 3 inches, closer to 7 feet 4 inches.
You're giving me Zach Edey.
I am giving you Zach Edey.
As soon as you said interior like 7 times. Interior.
Now, there has been talk on this station, too, about people saying, well, why not? You're looking for a backup for Joel Embiid. Is this a guy that maybe you're thinking of?
No.
Okay, Amy's totally out on Zach Edey. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, right?
No.
No at 16. No at 26. No.
Okay.
I like Zach Edey. Not on this team.
Okay. All right, this man could be a rookie lob threat and rim protector in the mold of Derek Lively II of the Mavericks. 3-point translation as well as it did during his sophomore year in college. He could bring another dimension. 6'11", close to 7 feet, Kel'el Ware of Indiana.
Yeah, I recently started looking a little bit more into him. I did not remember. He's kind of flown up a lot of draft boards. He must have had a good combine or something because I feel like
he has gone up. You're right.
Yeah, his name has really been talked about more, and I thought, I watched Indiana a number of times. He didn't stick out, but I've seen some good highlights. I'd dive it deeper into that. That's a maybe. I don't think it's 16, but I'd like to see a little bit more. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
I'm a little leery of going with the backup center at 16 just because I don't know, like, as much as I'd love to fortify who's behind Embiid, it's not necessarily the first thing that's on my mind. The first thing I kind of want is someone that's been in the league and understands the physicality of being down low. If that's going to be the guy that does 10 minutes without Embiid on the floor in the postseason, I wouldn't really want to hand that off to someone who hasn't experienced it before.
Yeah, he has more of a translatable game to Embiid's game than Zach Edey. Zach is a completely different traditional center. I'm going to stay right here. There's not a three-point shot that's coming. I don't care what they say. I mean, he could shoot it maybe once. I would maybe a little bit more like Embiid, but yeah, I'm with Ray on the fact that you don't want to spend the 16th pick on a backup.
Right. Okay.
No matter how important they are.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. You guys kind of threw me for a loop with the small backcourt. You're absolutely right because we know the size of Tyrese Maxey, so you're going to have to try to pair somebody a little bit bigger. So I'm taking some guys off the board as I talk to you. So
you took off Collier.
Because 6'3". Simply because of that. The kid from Duke,
McCain.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's go. I'm trying to find them here, and I
mean, the thing is, that's where it comes into play. Like, there might be some really talented players that fall to you at 16 because of the run on gosh knows what.
Sure.
French players. Like, let's just go, and there's a bunch of them. So you have really gifted guys that are lottery pick type of players, and maybe you go with them and, kind of they're good enough to get you through. I don't know. I mean, it's ideally, I think you're looking for a guy that's 6'5".
How do you say point guard in French? As we know that you are.
Oh, I'll find out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know off the top of my head. That's not one of the words I need to use.
All right, here's where we go. Athletic testing results from the NBA Combine won't do this guy any favors. With shoes on, 6'11", he'll wind up negative wingspan at 6'10.5", finished in the bottom half of foot speed and leaping test. His draft stock has mostly remained unchanged for the past few months, though pre-draft users could push him down on boards. His shooting range, post skill, improved finishing and passing, and defensive mobility create versatility that should make him a lock in the first round. He doesn't project as a top option, but he checks the right complementary boxes to make a quick transition to a supporting stretch 4 or 5. 6'11", from Duke University, Kyle Filipowski.
Oh, no.
Filipowski, I'm sorry.
Filipowski. No. I watched him play the entire
So did
game.
I. Ugh. Wow. Amy, just a shimmy.
I mean,
you gave it a shimmy shake, like the Phillies do when they get base hits.
Slow feet, not athletic, and kind of shoots okay. That's literally what you just read there.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that is a terrible, terrible draft report.
Kind of what you
Kind of
don't
terrible,
want.
not great, can't move, not athletic, shoots average. Yeah, absolutely. No
Yeah,
way.
sign me up for that.
No way.
Probably not.
Filipowski, no thanks.
Okay, let's go here.
Ray, I'm sorry, I didn't. Ray.
Nah, I'm good. Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Amy gave it the shimmy shake, so I thought we were all off on that one. All right, this is a power forward, small forward, top 20 on some teams' boards. He figures to get looks from teams starting in the mid to late first round, which the Sixers are, after a breakout season, averaging 19.6 points, 3.5 assists. 30% usage on 13-19 California team does cast a cloud over statistical production. Does anybody know what that means?
It means
Eye test says he's clearly a scorer with NBA traits and skills. 6'6", from the University of California, Jalen Tyson.
I think they were trying to say, like, what he played there clouds the
Right, yeah.
clouds the statistics. I honestly, like, I've recently started looking at him.
Yeah, so did I.
Like I'm not talking about, like, maybe a couple of days ago. I saw, like, oh, this guy's an interesting name. The only reason I even clicked on to look at him was his size and his stats.
Right.
I don't know. That guy, he looks okay. I think when they said it's translatable, I don't know that his shot is that good. But I think he has a big upside. I mean, you have to remember, these kids are like 18, 19 years old.
Yes, and
it's
upside.
really tough. So their upside should be really up.
Yeah, I have
like
a
him okay.
freshman here too. 6'4", point guard, shooting guard. Shot extremely well during shooting drills after measuring just under 6'4" in socks. They don't play in socks; they play with shoes. So he'll be 6'5" on the court. He's one of the draft's youngest prospects with positional size, serious shot-making production, and enough passing ability for teams to picture a point guard. Didn't get to the rim much. Teams won't overthink athleticism or numbers as much as this late in this particular draft. University of Pittsburgh, as I said, 6'4", 6'5", and that is Carlton Carrington.
I like this player. I mean, I don't know if I would take him at 16, but I like this player. I feel like he's a later pick. I think he's in the 20s. But I think that he does. When they say doesn't get to the rim, one, that's not really what he was asked to do. And two, when you're thinking about on this particular Sixers team, you don't need him to get to the rim. That's what Tyrese Maxey's job is. I need a facilitator for that guy. I need a traditional point guard that's bigger, take the physicality of all the way that the point guards play in the NBA now, because these guys are much bigger, and he's a good shooter.
Yeah.
He's a good shooter.
Yeah. He kind of sticks out when you watch him.
Yeah.
Like one
he's
of
a good
those
shooter.
guys.
You watch him.
Not the way De'Aaron Fox did when I was watching Malik Monk highlights.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
What about that guy?
Yeah. I'm taking my eyes off of him right away.
Yeah.
All right, here's one. Scouts have been drawn to his size for a guard, shooting and ball handling, a combination that creates an enticing you okay? God bless you.
Sorry.
An enticing player. His lack of strength and explosion inside the arc does hint at risk, but he'll receive interest in the teens as a 6'7" live dribble passer who shot 40.8% from three. 6'7", a freshman though 20 years old, from Miami, Keyshawn George.
Yeah, as soon as you started to say his stats, I remember George from Miami. And I can't remember why he's a 20. Did he go to another, I think he went to a prep school or something?
I'm sure.
I can't remember
what school anybody goes to anymore.
That's true. But no, I liked him. I think that there is some question about his actual shot. I always go back to something that Herb McGee told me once. If he can make free throws and they can turn into a shooter. Look at that more than look at whatever.
Right.
Whatever their stats are. But I watched him in Miami. I thought he's a nice player. I think that he has a lot of talent. He's very raw, even though he's 20. You could just tell he's a very good athlete.
Yeah.
Just like a guy that can really move up and down the court and create for himself.
Yeah, so there's some people. We're going to keep doing this with Amy until the draft next week. Figure out some people. We didn't even hit the international floor.
Oh my
but
goodness.
We'll do that at some other point because there's probably a lot of people on there that none of us know. So when we get back, we're going to close things out for you, take you into the best show ever because that's what we do. Don't forget Tyrone, Bill Colarulo, and the aforementioned, not favorably, Silvana Kelleher. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Been a good hour, hasn't it, Abe?
One of the best. I love the 1 o'clock hour.
So do I. You know why? Because it's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Very good. You did very, very well on the synopsis of who the Sixers may take at 16. But then we go to break and we started talking about it. What are your feelings about 16?
I do think when you look at the draft and how it breaks down, and you heard when you were describing a lot of those players that could be a good fit, late teens, 20s, I think there's going to be a lot of guys that fall. And for the Sixers, you have to weigh, do you take the best player available or do you take the best fit? Because there's going to be some real talent that's going to fall to them at 16. I truly believe that. Every draft, I mean, you don't really know. They're called mock drafts for a reason because they're just pretend.
Sure.
But it feels like there's going to be a lot of foreign players top heavy in this one. And so that's going to force a lot of the good college players to drop down. I saw ones where you're seeing guys that were definitely lottery picks going 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And I thought, gosh, the Sixers, could you resist? Could you resist taking a really, really talented player, even if he's not a complete 100% fit for you? That's tough for me. Or do you just trade out and think we're just going to get our guy at 22?
Yeah, or do you just trade out of the first round and that way you're owed no guaranteed money? You have different things that you can play with if you're the Sixers. Although you have tons to play with now. I don't know. Is Daryl Morey looking for more? I don't know. I've never, like I said before, Eamon, I think you would agree. I've never seen anything like this in sports since I've been.
Where you have an entire roster that's basically completely open.
You have nothing. Like, you have nothing. And is that a great thing? Could be. They have to get it right, though. That is the big thing. They have to get this right.
I think they have to get the whole offseason completely right? I mean, you have to look at the draft. You have to look at the free agency. You have to look at the contracts that you're going to be signing. Everything has to be on point because the window, and we've talked about it before, the window is small.
Yeah.
You're looking at 2 years probably to really capitalize. And I think that now you see what the Celtics do, I think that really puts the impetus on, like, let's get this done. You got to get something going really quickly.
I wonder if what the Celtics have done and how they are built has changed the mind of Daryl Morey at all.
I mean, it's hard to see because it's such a different makeup, but I think the way that team is constructed, you can take things away from it as far as 2 stars and role players and everything. But as far as, like, positions, no, because they don't have the positions like the Sixers. Like, their 2 best players are not a guard and a center.
Right. And one of the free agents that was out there, OG Anunoby, it came out this morning. He is going to sign a max deal with the Indiana Pacers once he's allowed to.
Pascal Siakam.
Correct. OG Anunoby would be with the Knicks.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Mark it down right, 155. I'm sorry. I was writing stuff down on that earlier. Pascal Siakam. God, the money is just unbelievable,
I know.
Isn't it?
And it's every year. I talked to Mark Jackson about it recently, and he was like, man. I was like, I know. Do you ever, like, wish you just played now?
Yeah, right. I know. I see that. Like, Ricky will talk about that every once in a while. You'll see that every once in a while. All right, listen, stay tuned for the best show ever. Amy and I are off tomorrow, so you will have 2 other people here. I don't know who they are. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you on Friday.